North American stock futures back in negative territory once again this morning, coming off a nice bounce back day yesterday for all three U.S. indexes, even with the rally we saw at the end of the day yesterday. All three U.S. indexes still in the red for the month of September as the seasonality of September, the negativity of September continues to live up to its reputation. Historically, in the month of September, the losses have accelerated in the back half of the month, so we still could be in for some negativity here. S&P was up 0.9 yesterday. If you remember, both the Dow and NASDAQ in positive territory as well. Some economic numbers just out to bring to your attention. The weekly jobless claims number in line with expectations here, 332,000 versus 330 on the weekly jobless claims. We also got retail sales for August up 0.7 versus negative 0.8 expected. So a couple of positive notes on the economic front there. To start things off this morning, we're watching Beyond Meat shares trading lower on a downgrade this morning. Moderna, Tesla as well. Kathy Wood selling more of her Tesla holdings today. We'll talk about that coming up. It is Thursday, September 16th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. Point, yeah, pretty red right across the board. The NASDAQ leading 0.3, 0.15, 0.2 there for the Dow and the S&P. Brazil open already, trading to the downside. Crude off a little bit this morning. Crypto's trying to get back into positive territory. A bit of more volatility in Bitcoin overnight. Sean looks different this morning.
2 days in a row, another haircut there, Sean? What's up, buddy?
Sean's been kicked out of his seat, I guess. If you leave at Trader TV, Randy will just jump in unexpectedly. Good to have Randy with us once again this morning. Do we have this shot, Lucas? Maybe.
Yeah, let's see what's going on.
It's fine. Sean's here, guys. He'll be here in a second.
He's right there, but he made the mistake of going up to get a coffee, which apparently means Randy's going to annex your seat.
That's right.
So there we go. There's Sean. It's just a regular Thursday around here, guys,
Sure
and everybody. So welcome. It's shaping up to be an exciting day. Why? Because IronNet is going crazy. Randy's like, what the heck is an IronNet? And that's exactly what everyone else is thinking. What the heck is an IronNet? It's a cybersecurity company that's going absolutely nuts. It's probably on the sticky note, which...
It's actually not on the sticky note. We got Beyond Meat.
That should be there.
We've got LVS. We've got Bros. And we've got Apple. So we're doing okay. Right.
Now, can you make some? You can make some trades. You realize that because Sean is logged in. You could actually be hitting some keep.
All right.
No. Okay. All jokes aside, obviously we don't trade for each other. We're gonna have a lot of fun here. Lots of things moving. We got TFCs all over the place. The casino stocks are still under pressure. And I'm gonna just start cracking up now. I got nothing.
Okay, gonna be one of those kind of days, guys. Let's before we go any further, get over to Valeria's desk before Randy goes over and takes her seat, and say good morning to Miss V.
Good morning, team. Welcome back, everyone. I wish you a wonderful day. Let's have fun together and enjoy our trading. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and let's get it started, Brandon.
Let's indeed get it started, guys. Yeah, we're seeing a bit of a bounce back here for futures off that retail sales number. Again, if you're just coming in a little late here, I'll show you this again. 0.7% to the upside versus 0.8% to the downside expected for August month-over-month retail sales. So futures trying to get back to the upside. Little small cap there, PHIO, I was having a look at as well. But interesting number there, guys. We noted off the back of earnings season, the last earnings season, the relative strength that came through in some of the retail names. So a little bit of follow through here. People still getting out to the stores, it would appear.
Definitely. I'm going to assume a bit of a move here in sort of CEI. It just kind of came out of nowhere. I'm going to assume it's probably an offering, but it broke a key level at 150 to the downside. So that just distracted my attention. And yeah, I mean, it's only like a 20 or 15 point bounce in the ES, and we're still looking relatively negative. Apologies for looking at this chart here. My mind is now on CEI, and of course, the reference made in the chat that Randy looks like Walter White, and I cannot believe that I have not once made that connection, because he absolutely looks like Walter White.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes, you do.
Needs to get the hat, and then
gotta
he
do
would
that.
for
You gotta
sure.
do
Heisenberg over there. Okay, so look, welcome. Should be a good day. It's disappointing that the Nasdaq's going to start off in the red. I mean, we were battling yesterday. It was nice to see a little bit of a rebound in the Nasdaq yesterday there, and now today it looks like we're down that 0.3 right now. And Apple's at some key levels. I did tweet that out as well on the sticky note, and thank you to Randy for verifying that. But they are out right now. Beyond Meat's going to be on watch near $100. The imbalance locator so far today, we'll have a quick look at it. There's Bros. I like Bros today. Why not? Oh shoot, we're right near that. Yeah, we're right near
that 40 level.
Yeah, we're right near that 40 level, and that's what I've indicated here. I'll take a long through 40 no matter what. Even if it does happen in the pre-market, but that's going to be a little dangerous, so we're not going to do too many shares because realistically the bottom is 37 right here, right? So, I mean, if you're going to take a big hit, I don't know where you're going to get out if you get long 40 and it starts to fail. So I'm going to look at Bros taking that out. What a great IPO. We traded SRAD the day before. We weren't able to get into Bros yesterday, but big move to the upside. Nice. This is a 15-minute chart, so nothing but love for you, Bros. And then if you can see right here, this is the consolidation that we're talking about at 40 yesterday before making the move back to the downside into the close. So, a lot of traders selling that 40 level. You could see even on a little bit of volume down there. So, hey, if it breaks 40 today, we're going to go long on Bros, bro.
Yeah, it was a good day. That one, not so much for, I mean, they were still positive for that ON Holdings, the running shoemaker, Roger Federer backed running shoemaker. Ended the day pretty much on the lows. We're, trading in and about that area in the pre-market here for ON, guys. We might as well have a look at that one as well. Typically, we look at, kind of the value of IPOs, the day of to kind of gauge whether or not we want to pay much attention to them. Turns out yesterday, the bigger one, which was ON, 750-ish million on the value for that one. Bros about 350 million. Bros ends up being by far the more positive.
100%. And sometimes maybe it's just the fact that there's too many eyeballs and too many people jamming into something like ON. I just know that you get that 37 price here that it opened. It actually turns into resistance. It's the only thing I'll be looking at today for this stock is probably any attempt to get back to the lower high open price at 37. Probably going to be a bit of a fade there. You saw in the afternoon show, Bros, there was somebody decided to sell a ton of shares there on Bros when 40 tried to break. And I wasn't watching ON to take any advantage of this 37 level, but I will be in today's action. You have nothing else to go by, like I said yesterday, outside of even dollar and the chart the day before, and maybe some historical prices, which historical prices are previous rounds of funding, which typically only come into play if a stock absolutely crushes. So you're not even going to care about those until the stock has established a history, or maybe it would tank and crazy tank in the first couple of sessions, which probably is not going to happen. So I'll be looking at a 37 fade on ON. I just really think Bros like yesterday. Today is going to be the better day. I am in the LPTX. That stock has a history of, I guess, fading every single time it pops. So again, on our watch list, and we'll be all over it. I can't believe we haven't even said anything about iron. I got out of that CI because it was not an offering. And thank you so much, Mr. Howard in the chat, saying they restated their financials. So I looked at the chart. I was like, maybe it's an offering. I'll short the halfway pop, and then immediately got out when I realized that it wasn't. But IronNet, before we get out of hand here, I ruined myself this morning, and if you guys will probably have an understanding, that means did not pay for shorts, which were $1.24 per share in IronNet, and it is down now from pre-market highs, $16, and continuing to stretch to the downside. If it breaks like 42.5, that could get pretty interesting. A little bit of a peak here in the aftermarket, and right at 6 a.m. that was the support. So IronNet, what goes up must come down, although Wall Street Bets seem to think it's going to like 135, I saw in the chat.
They thought IronNet was going to 135.
Well, someone made a call.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's not going there because, I mean, we saw INDP was a good example from yesterday alone going to 29. So he basically tripled up yesterday. I mean, this was the trade of the day here in Daptis. We had a nicely breaking 13 there, out 20s, out 16. That was $3. Then we took it again on this break, 17 up to 18, up to 21. So we had a couple longs here off the open, and we're going to try to do the same thing again here today. I just tweeted it out right now. How about this 14 break? This is just, we looked at that yesterday in the afternoon, and it looks like we've been holding 10. So you know, a $4 worth of risk here. I mean, I don't hold it all the way back to 10, I don't think. But INDP, you know, the bottom is a lot lower than where we are now. So I'm not super crazy about this trade. But hey, if a breakthrough 14 happens, I do want to be into that and into that long. So we'll see if that does come through. But INDP there, I'm not super excited about ON. You know, if it was Djokovic instead of Federer, maybe. But
The new GOAT?
yeah, I'm just joking about that. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, I do like that bros through 40, and I like this INDP getting going. And then you mentioned CEI just quickly. I know you already talked about it, but I like this long down here, 130. So, I mean, I know that there was the offering. I know there's news about it.
It's not an offering. They restated financials.
Restated financials,
I thought
okay.
it was an offering, so I went short, but then once I realized it wasn't, I got rid of it.
Okay, so that's okay. So right there. So thanks for that clarification. But we've been down here to 120 a couple of days ago into this area. So hey, if we take a 140 long, which we're going to try, we do have this very bottom of 130. So I'm just going to use today's bottom as my out.
All right, I haven't seen actually any update as far as their financials, but I'll show you this headline, guys. So all they're saying basically is Q2 numbers they released prior to this can no longer be relied on. So I'll keep an eye on that. See if they do come out with new updated numbers, but that's the headline so far for CEI. Luis Barbados joining us once again on a Thursday from the Day Trade the World office in Barcelona, Spain. Busy morning. Luis, good to have you back. Good to see you and talk to you once again. It's been a busy week as far as these low float, high-flying, crazy stocks have been, to say the least. I know that is exactly what you guys tend to look at and like to trade. So give us an update. How's your week been? What have you been looking at?
It's been a great week. As you say, we are having a lot of names every day. Yesterday was ANY live 2 days ago. So every day we have like 2-3 very nice stocks. So it's very active week. We also have some medium price stock going crazy as INDP, IRNT. So it's been very active week for sure. Yeah.
Something like an IRNT, for example, this IronNet. You get into the very low float. That one, I mean, it's a little bit bigger. It's 40-50 million kind of on the float.
Yes.
That move that happened yesterday, all the way up and then all the way back to essentially where it started the day. Walk us through your thought process when you're watching something like that. I mean, Neil and I were talking here in the pre-market this morning on that, and when that turned, midday and then started coming back down, there was just no bid at all.
Yeah, the movement down was kind of tough, mainly in INDP. IRNT was a little bit more fluent. I mean, when up, it was difficult to get in the movement up because you have to try some breakouts, something that we don't try. I congratulate from here to Sean. I think I'm sure he took some of this breaking up. We don't do this kind of movement. In the movement down, IRNT, it gave some pullbacks to get out or to jump into short position. We didn't have shorts yesterday. This morning was a little bit expensive, in my opinion. 124 per 100 shares is a little bit expensive. Was more fluent movement there. INDP was very tough, the movement to $10.
Yeah.
As Son mentioned, it's a very important support on 10 pre-market, 25% from that movement. We're not gonna go long here, but if we see some pullback to $12, we might try to take some longs there.
We were discussing I had to talk myself into $62 per 100 shares yesterday in a couple of different symbols. So yeah, 124 is getting to a point where, I mean, if you're risking $5 to make 10 or 15, it becomes a little bit more digestible, but still, it's very pricey. The metals company, I want to get your take on TMC, a little one moving around today.
Yeah, very important ticker today as well. 2 days ago, we had a very bad trade on this one going up and suddenly down all the way down. Today, it looks more natural movement. So we're going to try to look for Johnny's all-time highs, I think, right now, or near to all-time highs. So it's going to be very active stock. It is nice. Sometimes it's a little bit manipulated, the level 2 and time and sells, some algos coming in. So you really have to be aware of some range of prices where you don't really want to be, because they're going to move it to long squeeze or short squeeze to trap the people on those kind of levels. But it's going to be very active stock. Today, OPAD is also a stock to watch. All-time highs. It at $19 right now, trading 1680s. Very important. It is the kind of stock we really like. A lot of volume, not very big, not blue chip, and a lot of noise going up and down. So OPAD is actually our best stock today.
Give us your thoughts here on all of these former SPACs. There's been OPAD is another one that used to be or is a SPAC conversion, now trading under its own symbol. But there's been a handful of different former SPACs that have popped up in the last week or so. Do you pay much attention to that kind of idea, or do you strictly just look for price action and volume?
We look for price action, but it is true that there is a lack of data, and the people, the normal people, retailers, might be a little bit lost in these new tickers and new environments. So movements are a little bit more difficult. You saw the other day SPRT turning to GREE, GREE. So it is a little bit more difficult to move, okay, because the participants in the market, some of them are a little bit more lost of pricing and what stock it is and so on. So yeah, a little bit to avoid sometimes these tickers.
Great stuff. Luis Barbedo from Barcelona, Spain, the Day Trade the World office in Barcelona, Spain. We appreciate your time as always. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you, Brendan.
This time of year, guys, it's even more important to go where the action is, go where the volume is, go where the movement is. Importantly, coming up obviously in October, we'll get back into earnings. We'll get back into hopefully a more normal market. But for this time of year, it's important to find what is moving.
And we just looked up that IRNT, and it was $1.40 per share, and now it is
$2.68.
Yeah,
$2.68.
So, I mean, needless to say, the people that are making the money here seems to be the brokers that are lending out some of these shares.
Should have just paid for it when it was $1.24.
It's like when you go to the casino and you're playing, at the tables and things like that, and it's like, no matter what, the people taking the rakes are the ones winning at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, it's exactly what you guys said with Lewis there. If you're not trading something that's moving, then right now you're kind of just waiting for the big levels to crack, or maybe you're averaging in and out of a few trades on some of those bigger names, but you don't have too much movement right now. I'm in CEI right now. We just talked about a few other names, OPAD. I'm actually in Bros now as well, so I've got both of these positions. Bros long broke through 40, so we'll wait to see where that goes. And then CEI, we're just trying to scalp out a couple pennies as many times as we can. So that's all that we're doing right now. It's only 8:47, so let's not get too crazy here. You still have 45 minutes to go before the market even opens. So, hold tight, and let's go over some of these levels, and make sure you get our watch list on tradertv.live. Check that out, and yeah, it should be a fun one.
Yeah, speaking of the watch list, we'll jump into a few names that are moving around here in the pre-market, guys. Wanted to mention Electronic Arts, EA, real quick, was trading lower. We spoke briefly yesterday about them possibly having a delay for a couple of their franchises that on the next version, they were talking about further delays, so they came out after market and basically confirmed that. So one that we don't typically look at that often, but EA moving around here a little bit.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, I hadn't even
EA Sports?
Yeah, EA Sports.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay, why not?
It's in the game, I think.
Oh, there it is. One of the most iconic lines, I suppose, in gaming, because everyone recognizes it.
Low-hanging fruit.
First, of course, recognize that there is no pre-market volume. Well, very, very little pre-market volume. So ignore the charts, ignore these levels that you see. Most of this, like when you see these little wicks up and down, they tend to usually be overnight dumps at key prices. So if you look at this in the aftermarket, up here at like 141, like you'll have some late prints there, and every now and then you'll get prints that come off at the close price, like a 137. So try to do that. What I hate about this chart, and if you look at a daily chart, and you see this kind of barcoding action, and I guess it's not really barcoding when it's a $15 range, but as you can see, you have clear resistance up at like a 46, 47. You have not so clear support in the mid 30s, and you're trading away from that. So on weakness, the way I would want to be able to play it is if you were anywhere sort of reasonably close to lower highs, which there's just basically none of here, or testing down to the bottom, that's going to be your entry area. So when you don't have access to those levels on a stock which you know is going to be low liquidity, is going to be very whippy, it's going to end up being a stay away. Now, the day that EA Sports gets down to like a 135 level, or wants to test that, or if you're bearish on it, gets anywhere near 143, 144, yeah, then you can start thinking about your fades, you can start thinking about your breakdowns, things along those lines. just be very, very cautious, especially when you see news on a stock. And then you see all those crazy wicks in here or there. Like, it can look like, oh, this stock is moving in the pre-market if you were to only look at a chart. And obviously that's not going to be true. Like, this could be deceiving because you could look at this in pre-market and say, oh, but that looks like you should be shorting, 140, 140 half, 141 or so if you like this name. But there's essentially no shares that went off there. Like, I'm looking at my time and sales. And there was basically nothing that went off at those prices. So take these with a grain of salt. After the open, they tend to be a little bit more interesting.
Some asks here about, we'll look at Palantir. Some people asking about this 14 level INDP. I mean, it's coming up right now. Again, this is where it halted, and then we started to go to the downside pretty badly, right? Down to 40% more, so down to $10 there. So it's just, if you are going to go long, we've missed the opportunity. I mean, I really think now that I look back at this thing, I wish I would have said something about this level here because this was the high at 8 o'clock. Once that was broken at about $12, now you're $2 in the money. We are bouncing right now, so maybe there's nothing here. But, that should have been taken right there on the high. And it's only because it has the pedigree, right? It has the pedigree to do it. So that's why I'm wondering if it goes again here today. That's all. So it's just 14 is right here where we had, the halt price there, and you can see that no volume at the bottom. Well, you can't see that now, but so that's halted in there. So that's the level that I'm going to be looking at for an area of concern. And then also, if you did take any of these long, if you happen to bottom pick yesterday at close, something like that, and you're long around 10, 11, 12, there's nothing wrong with taking a piece out right here as well. Even now, I mean, 1334. Again, we always look at these things, and it's the same talk all the time. We always look at these things with rose-colored glasses, like, this is only going to go up. Like, I'm long now, I'm in the money $1, I want $2, I want $3. I've seen what it's done before. Yesterday it moved $12. But that doesn't mean it's going to happen again today. So, take every trade as a new trade and definitely hold on to something. I mean, just in case it does run up, but take some profits if you're there. And I like this level. So bros, we're in. I mean, let's go to Brendan to the big screen because a lot of the stocks that I'm in on, they're going to be on our list anyways. So there's some talk about these, but bros did break 40 and we are in that one. We're looking to average into it. I don't know where it's going to go, but we'll talk about that more when we get back. What's up, Brendo?
Yeah, lots of time, lots of things to get to, guys, including upgrades and downgrades here. AXP, top of the list today. Bank of America liking American Express, as well as DoorDash in positive territory. Adobe, Marathon on here. Fisker, interesting today, breaking some key levels I saw in the pre-market with the downgrade. And then the casinos we're going to talk about as well, back in negative territory. Third day in a row for them, guys.
Brendan with the key levels. Yes, he's absolutely. Well, of course. I mean,
well,
of
broke
course
13.
Yeah,
that's
it broke 13. That's the key level. But he's always right. Like, I mean, I don't even know why I had to double.
1250.
You see 12. Yeah, it's trading at 12. Trading at 1290 is going to be FSR. It just wasn't on the radar. It certainly is now breaking this level on the daily chart. And you don't have a heck of a lot in the way of support until you get down to. I mean, you're probably talking about like $9, $10. It's obvious. I mean, you can usually throw these out once they've already been breached. I kind of like what we're already looking at here today, and I did want to jump over to because I just on INDP, and it's not to double down on the stock, but I paid for the shorts like right away this morning after how weak it was. It's a look back at a couple levels. The halt price Sean mentioned, we wanted that break and never got it in the afternoon. But I'm gonna look back to about 1650, and then that's right to the morning halt, the up halt at 1719, call it 1720. I think that's that first range. If it breaks out, I would like a reversal there, or at 20 to 21. Those are the two places I'm going to be looking. Just watching that CI, which it's like they didn't restate their numbers. They just said you can throw out the old ones with no actual data. So like I just jumped back into the exact same trade I had before, and it looks like it's even stronger than it was before. But I'm not really that much of a believer in CI.
I'll check those update boards, but yeah, so I wasn't a believer in CI either. I was talking about going long down here. Next thing I know, I started trying to, I'm not even out yet, trying to scalp this thing, and then the next thing you know, it breaks that 54, and then we take one last shot here at 58. So we're going to hold this, but now we have more shares than we had liked, but we're only short at 53, so it's not the end of the world here. It's 52.5, so we'll, if it comes back in here, we'll scalp this out and just take some pennies instead of anything dramatic here, because it looks like it's pretty strong here to the upside. Most of this rally here on decent volume, four or five green candles in a row there, sending this thing upside here. So CEI, a good one. Yeah, you talked about Fisker there. I'm going to look to see what else was on that board. There's a lot of names there today, so upgrades and downgrades might be something to look at. We actually talked about Beyond Meat getting that downgrade there. So we'll have to look at that as well. That's going to be near that $100 support level. But again, that's on our list. So we'll look at that for sure.
Speaking of, let's talk about the list, guys. If you are in need of the watch list, that is the link you need to go to find it. All you need is an email address, and you can have our morning watch list for free every single day. Miss V will help you out in the chat if you require that link anymore. Let's talk about Moderna, and then we'll get into Beyond Meat. Moderna out after market yesterday with more data suggesting that their vaccine, even after 1 year, still has very high efficacy, very good against breakthrough infections that have been, the new talk of the town with the Delta variant, and avoiding breakthrough infections, very, very important. So in their mind, they think that a booster is possible, guys.
I mean, they're not alone in certainly thinking that, and obviously, Moderna's been a more wild stock than any of the other vaccine names I want to say. That's probably going to be true, but it's getting a little bit range bound. I kind of have here, and I'm looking at this top end of the range here. It's about a 444, which is turning into a support level, and you're getting some lower highs off that because it is a pretty volatile name. So you won't have tight clusters when it comes to this stock, but it's got a definite, I call it like 417, 420-ish bottom that we've been putting in. So I kind of want to play Moderna off of those levels, right? So I'm not really thinking breakouts on Moderna. I'm just thinking about, okay, like drifting into support and catching buys, drifting into the offer, and then trying to just catch a tight stop sell off like a 445 or something along those lines. Inside here, like you're clustering up and then looking for a breakout doesn't really make a heck of a lot of a sense when you're forming this cluster and don't have a definite direction. It might eventually move. It just doesn't feel like that's necessarily going to be today. And I don't want to be chasing this when, let's put it mildly, like there's obviously a lot that's going to give you these big percentage gains in these dollar movers. So some of these bigger caps, which were fantastic the last couple of weeks, couple of weeks, I don't see the need to force into Moderna. But if we do get anywhere now down towards that 420, I think that'll be an awesome opportunity to pick some up for the day trade, buy off of those lows, and then see if we can't use support to give you like your $5, maybe $10 wins. I'm not sure you get 20 off a level like that though.
Yeah, I mean, the more boosters, obviously, the better it's going to be. But we had this discussion yesterday with Gus, as you guys saw him come in at the end of the day. If you weren't watching the 3 p.m. show, Gus showed up to say hi. And the thing is that there's not that much money, I don't think, in these booster shots. I mean, I don't know how much they're going to be charging for each shot. I know it was initially in the 20s or something for at least the first vaccine. Now, I don't know if they've made other deals, and I think now with Pfizer showing up with and Pfizer BioNTech showing up with the same mRNA technology there, that I just don't know. I think Moderna's overdone. I mean, I like the stock. The point about Moderna for me is the future. They're working on cancer treatments and various things with this technology. So it's the mRNA technology. So I think that there is some runway for that. But again, we're pretty overdone, I think anyways. Like we really struggled up here once we broke through 450. We only got to 460. And then since then, big time drops to the downside. But we've been holding this 420. So between 420 and 460, that's 10%, right? So right in here, I think you can forego this 10% and not really worry about it here. But I'm not, I'd rather play the short on a breakthrough here or play the long on a breakthrough 450. So to me, Neil talked about some levels, and I think the same thing. So if we break through 415, 416, then I think it's a short. And then if you break through 450, then it's a long. But I don't really want to play in this range. And if you guys do, that's great. You have 444 at the top, and then you have 425 here in and around the bottom. So you can play that $20. I'd rather leave it alone until we get to some of these tipping points on Moderna.
All right, let's have a look at the overall market here. We'll bring Arun in and get a check of the futures this morning. We've seen ranges expand over the past couple of days. Arun, it seemed like the retail number was a little better than expected there this morning. What are you looking at today?
Yeah, positive reaction. We were sitting at 44.60, and here we are just underneath 44.70. So a 10-point move off 830 number. Yesterday's movement from the morning, it kind of sets up nicely for some action, sets up some potential trades that we could work with. 44.90 was a level I gave yesterday. That's still in play. 44.25 was the primary support level. That's still in play. The 44.60 level, 44.60 was the primary resistance level that we needed to clear to get a run to the upside. We got that taken out. So now this kind of really opens up the door for some potential longs. I am looking for longs, but not at these prices. 44.70 is way too close for me for that 44.90 area. I'm actually open to idea of shorts, anything above 75 if we can get a setup. I would prefer if we can grab a long, and I would like that long to be underneath 44.60. The reason I say this is because the stop on this would have to be, for me, down at 44.25. So it's gonna be a large stop. I just need enough runway to make that risk make sense. So just underneath 44.60 would be the long where I would go for it. But at these prices, I think you would have to wait, maybe look for a potential short above 44.75 if you can get it. Again, it all has a setup, but the way it's been working, and it's been working like this since Monday too. I've been noticing ever since we got below 44.50, there's been a lot of buy side action. On Monday, it was a lot of programs. And then yesterday, there was a decent amount of buy side support, just regular trading, no program activity, not heavy anyways. And it seems to be that 44.50 going on down is a massive support level. And one of our other traders was telling me that there is a 50-period DMA sitting down there. So it makes sense why there would be a decent amount of activity or a high amount of activity around those prices. So if that's the case, then the amount of volume that we saw, there's a decent chunk of volume on the buy side that is willing to support this market, at least all the way down to 44.25 and that DMA. So I would look for the long side. I would prefer the long side, but it would have to be below 44.60. If we keep on going up at these prices, if we keep on doing this trend, then I think I would have to look on the short side because I'm not sure where I can find a long. But the short side is available because 44.90 is up top. So anything above 75, I'm open to the idea of shorts if we can just get a good setup there.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. We are under 30 minutes, guys, to the open. Let's talk about Beyond Meat. Piper Sandler downgrading to underweight today from neutral. $95 price target, down from $120 on Beyond Meat. Just talking about their retail momentum starting to lag expectations. Not a lot of positive comments here on BYND.
I actually want to get some Beyond Meat shares. I was telling that to Neil, but maybe near this $100 is a spot. Just so everyone knows, Clover right now, I guess they got some sort of a deal here to provide Medicare Advantage members in-home vaccinations. So I guess that's, 2 Medicare Advantage. Yeah, okay. So I guess they're just going to be distributing them and or, I don't know, sending a nurse to various houses. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but there we go. I want to take the break of 850. So I just want to let everyone know that we'll be going long on Clover. That 50-period moving average is 850. So I was actually looking at that anyways on the daily chart. And now maybe if we finally get some kind of a reason here for Clover to go back to the upside. So whatever. Again, we'll take it pretty small. 850s right in here. You guys know I like to trade 50s, evens, 25s, so that kind of stuff. And then the bottom's going to be 8. So I think this is worth 50 cents worth of risk. Even if it pulls back in, I don't see any reason. It's a 15-minute chart. I mean, why do we need to test bottoms? NASDAQ is down, but Clover doesn't really care about that. So we'll watch for 850. But you want to talk about Beyond Meat? Sure. Let's do that. It's on the list here today. It's one of my favorite. Oh, I hit stock logos. That doesn't work anymore. Where's this one? What was that guy's name again who made this? I can't remember. Oh, no. Or is this the one that he coming back? Yeah,
this
there it is.
The new
so you
one.
go like that. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. He made another one where it was the cow.
I don't have the old one. The old one was
the cow was eating himself there.
That was a problem.
I forget that guy's name. We did have an intern. What was it? No, it wasn't Austin. No. It wasn't David or Austin. And we remember, I feel bad because we should remember their names. It was a while ago, but I remember Maggie's name, but Maggie's not an intern. There she is. I hear her laughing over there. Okay, so Beyond Meat. Look, let's start talking about this. So a downgrade today is not a very good sign for them. You can see the chart here. It's been pretty bad the last couple days. As soon as you broke this 112 yesterday there, or a couple days ago, we went to the downside. We've been bouncing off 109. I thought that, and this is why I looked at it, thought that maybe we would see some bottoms here about 109, 110, and then we could start to make the move to the upside. But look at this chart. There isn't going to be, there's a lot of ugly charts, But this isn't a new name. Like, this isn't one of those names where, you know, we kind of, there goes Bros back above 40, so that's good. This isn't one of those names that like just IPO'd, and I can use the example of, hey man, these are all these garbage IPOs here. Beyond Meat's been a story now for a couple years. They have product, they have everything, and they're worldwide. So again, this is going to be a problem. I guess the valuation was too high, according to who downgraded here? Piper Sandler. So downside 14%. They, you know, just claiming that their momentum lags expectations. And I've talked about that before. I liked it on this break here when we sort of consolidated. And I remember, and I keep saying this over and over again because I remember because we had Arun here that day when it broke through this level and then it just ripped and we were like, oh my God, we missed it. Should have put this in our longer term accounts. But now we're right back to that exact same level. So you have tons of consolidation back down here. I think that this is a buy near this $100 mark, but it's probably going to get there today. So I actually want to put some orders down here, 102, 103, 104, and try to take that. But for right now, as a scalp, I don't know what people are going to think about this. Down 3% seems like a lot considering where we've come from. So right now, I don't want to trade this off the open. It's a little bit too choppy, but I do want to get bids around 102, 103. To me, if you pick it up there, it's worth the $3 risk on that $100 break. So I think that's worth it. We'll see if we can get a dip buy. Just like we did on SoFi yesterday. We caught that huge dip buy on SoFi long yesterday. Like
that wasn't quite as big as I think this would have to be.
I don't know, because 1760, we went to like 1840 or so. This one, yeah, I mean, you still need to battle all the way back. So look, don't get me wrong. If I get that 102, 103, you know, our out is going to be 100, but that's like kind of like a scalp trade for me. I don't need to hold it all the way back to 107, but I'm going to be trying to do that. And then we'll get to Bros when we get to it. But any thoughts on Beyond?
I want to try to be short the name today if I can. You have an obvious previous floor at 109 that I don't want to see this get tested. I kind of been in this boat before where you have an already trending down stock and then you catch the downgrade and you're ways away from resistance points. So you have a long runway. I don't think I want to be involved with this 109 area. So I might have to take a look at the open at 108 and just say, if it's going to roll over at these prices, you just grab that 108. And you got the chop through the pre-market low here, 106.5 to 107. And then like Sean said, like on the daily chart, your 100 is sort of the target that sits. There is a bottom end of this range. If you zoom in on the daily chart here, there is a bottom end of this range where it broke out, consolidation breakout at this 106.5, 107, where we are right now. So, you know, in theory, you still have to break through that to drift down towards 100. That's why I'd probably play the 108 rollover 930 by taking some out in that target area, that 106.5 to 107, and then see if it could go any further. And that kind of a thing would be in play as long as it's below that 109 in this particular range and hasn't made a move to 100. So if it happens tomorrow, if it happens, I guess next week I should say, because tomorrow's Friday, then those will be in play for me in the next couple of days in Beyond Meat. The trend could reverse, but until it bounces closer to 100, I'd rather be on the short side.
All right, let's talk Tesla, guys. We had a big move yesterday. It happened actually midday. About 12 o'clock, we started a nice, decent rally for Tesla off the 742, 740 area it made in the morning, all the way up here to 755 once again. Down a bit this morning. It was interesting to hear Kathy Wood's ARK ETF selling 140,530, to be specific, shares over the past 2 days of Tesla, even though she still apparently is talking very positively about it.
I mean, look, they're she's very active. Like, those funds are very, very actively managed. We all know that. And Tesla's in just about, I mean, it's not only going to be in one of those. So, like, ultimately, yeah, take it with a bit of a grain of salt. But at the same time, like, it's not like this hasn't been a resistance area. If you believe the market's coming down, there's always a million other things that are opportunistic that you might want to put money into, which she talks about on a daily basis. Love the fact, by the way, that they say everything that they do, so you'll kind of know what's going on with ARK. And one of the things that's appealing about it to a lot of people. But this, for me, you get this high here off of 760 for a couple of days in a row. We had that nice rebound day in the overall market. Tesla was pretty strong up in this 50 range, and then we're going to gap right back down in the lower high. I don't want to throw this out. What happened in the last hour above that 755 range, but I'm still looking at 755. Is that sort of this resistance area here after we broke down off of that double, triple top, whatever you want to call it. So I want to be fading into 755 on Tesla. And it's not to say the market can't rebound today. I'd love for that to happen. But my first look on Tesla is going to be that, hey, we're going to make another test at that 740. And it almost feels like we're not breaking out until maybe we get another test at 740 or a higher low gets put in. So count me on the fade side. If I get a chance to shoot 755 area, I'll probably be involved in Tesla. I don't love it pre-market, but I think I'd be willing to get into this one if it made like a $2 or $3 pop here, shorting in front of that level.
Yeah, look, down at 600, we called 800. So we're getting close enough to 800 right now. And I still think we can, I'm still calling 800. I still think we get there. It's not that hard now. You're only 50 bucks away, which for a normal stock might be a problem. But for Tesla, we should be able to get there. I'm not worried about the ARK. I mean, you can still check. Like Neil said, they still own probably, I want to guess how many shares they still own. But, there's nothing wrong with taking some off and then putting money into another idea. I mean, that's what active managers are supposed to do. So I don't really take too much weight in the fact that she sold anything. And again, so, you're coming back down here, 730, 740, something like that on the daily range. You're still in this range. I think a break could happen of 765, which would be pretty nice. Even yesterday's high break there at the end of the day, 757, to me is worth a long as well. So the NASDAQ rallies, you're going to have, there's no problem with this stock rallying as well. You saw yesterday into a strong NASDAQ. This thing bases out. Here's the almost 20 bucks right here. 740 bottom, 757 high. So, that gets that move going. So let's see if it takes it again. I like this break today, honestly, 756.50, or let's just use 757. That's where we touched out yesterday. So 757, I'm going to put the order in to go long through 757 today. And then if the NASDAQ fails and we start to come back to the downside, then you could look at some of these clustered areas, 740, 744, something like that to start to go long on a failed NASDAQ. So we definitely want to put some bids down here as well, 740, 742, 3 in here, but I do want to put a bid to take 757 long. So let's just set that up right now, kind of like a bracket order here, buy downside, buy upside, and we'll see what triggers.
A few people talking about this GREE I've seen this morning. So quickly, guys, thoughts on GREE here? We're opening basically at the lows, formerly support.com, obviously after the merger. We're opening at the lows, as I mentioned, 39.75 was the support down there late in the day yesterday, but impressive move down yesterday. Not much love here yet.
No, it's really done no volume. So, but that said, the volume was ridiculously low, I suppose, in the pre-market yesterday, and then it ended up being a fantastic trade after the open if you were to the short side. So I got out away from trading the stock because it had no volume, and then didn't find my way into a short off of this 55 level. Look, if this stock even approaches 50, it's going to be a short for me. I don't know that you can touch the long unless it shows you a bounce above this 40 level. Like if it shows a hard bottom, like consolidation double bottom that's above 40 even, then maybe you go for like a scalp long. But I want to be shorting weakness, but I just don't see a ton of volume in this name. It was sort of sad to see because you saw how bad this was in the last day of support. Like outside of ATER, like support was just dying the same way that you saw INDP die when it made that top, and there was just no bid. And you came in the pre-market, and there was just no bid all pre-market long, and there was almost no chance for people to get out unless you're just, market sell, capitulation, fall down. And then it finally caught a bid, like very, very late in the session there. So I can't really get on board with buying this. I just kind of feel bad for people that got caught holding this bag.
Yeah, maybe 40. I just looked at, you don't have much data, right? Because it was support.com, and so you only have yesterday's trade to look at, which is sad because look at the pre-market, like Neil mentioned there, opened up real nice. Like it went that 9 for 1, right, with support. So support was, 99 bucks or 10 bucks, 11 bucks when it split. So it opens up where it's supposed to, around 80, 90 bucks, supposed to open 100, but then opens lower, comes all the way down, like basically gets chopped in half there in about an hour, down to $45, which is, I've never seen anything like that really. That's a big move there. And then now today, so that's the levels that I'm looking at right here, 48, 49, 50 for a short. So, we'll have to see where that goes, but that's what I'm looking at right now, 48, 49 for a short. Also, maybe if we break this too, man, 42.75 to the downside. The problem is what Neil was mentioning there. It's 70,000 shares, 70,000. So that's not going to give us a great idea of where the interest is. So, we'll wait for it, but I do like a 42.75 break to the downside. The problem is if you're wrong, then I gotta, I feel like I don't want to get out in this area. I feel like I got to wait or so to 47.50 So that's going to be too big. Like that's $5. And again, like if we break there, I can't wait for $5 to the upside. That is kind of what we're looking to the downside would be like $3 or $4. So, you know, it's worth maybe a small take here at 42.50, but let's wait to let it open up and see where the volume comes in. But if we hover around, what I'm getting at here is if the volume keeps the stock around between 43 and 45 and we just bounce, then if we can get a break, then I'm all on board. But right now, just not enough volume.
All right, let's go to IronNet here. We have the casinos on watch again today, guys, all trading lower. No additional news. I mean, there's a couple more downgrades for the casinos, but it's just surrounding the Macau news that we talked about a couple days back. Possible more regulations coming in Macau. IRNT, big run up late in the day yesterday that continued, it's worth mentioning, in the aftermarket. This thing ran $10, $15 after the close. Yesterday, gets all the way up here above 59, almost 60 in the pre-market this morning. Back to 45, 46 here for IRNT.
Like,
I will sort of.
I mean, how are we not invested in any of these names? Like, there's these names that are going crazy every single day. What was once what did we think it was at the first time? We thought it was a metal company.
There was a Russian metal company that moved on the same day.
Right.
And I think all day long we sort of spent like mixing the two of them up. This is, of course, the cybersecurity name. And this was on the day where we were shorting like 30s and it looks fantastic. It's like, well, how do you invest in this when it's like, it gets cut in half from that day and then barcodes for a couple of days? And look, ultimately you did get a bump and then it consolidates for a couple of sessions and then the breakout that you saw, which was redonkulous yesterday. Aftermarket was the big move. I just thought this pullback that it was putting in all pre-market was going to maybe take us into those previous highs, like this 36, 37 area. And I was kind of geared up that, hey, if it flushes into that, maybe like a halt down scenario, like that could have been like a halt down off the open. That could have been a way to get into it. I didn't pay for the shorts, which have now more than doubled in price again. So it's 4 times as expensive to short this thing as it was yesterday. And people thought that 62 cents was ridiculous. It's like actually more than 4 times that right now, which means the demand to short it has gone up, which means as this stock came down in the pre-market, there were more people going to their brokers trying to borrow shares to hammer this to the downside. That would suggest to me that there are shorts and probably a decent number in the 50s that are day trading it, and then a bunch in this like low 40 range I would assess as well. And for all of them to have been paying like $1 or $2 added on top of their risk, it gets pretty expensive if this thing were to retake, like let's say like a 52 to 55, because for a lot of people's cost base, like that's already breaking that lower high, or at least testing that lower high if you think about the amount of risk that they put on. And that would mean that it could squeeze again. Normally in this setup, I'd be thinking all short only. I can't go short, so I got to be very, very careful. I'd rather go long off halts because I like the halt entry points. I'm looking at 36, 37 as a potential support level if it can get down to that price. Other than that, I mean, if it goes to 100, I'd pay $2 a share to short it, because at that point, I mean, there's going to be some kind of a redonkulous flush at some point if it gets that high.
Yeah, barcoding does mean consolidation, so people are asking about that. So I mean, if you just knew to that too. Okay, let me show you what I put in a request out there. People want to see it. So how our pay for shorts work here, at Day Trade the World again. So we just log into our back end here. It's called Metro. You can see, my middle name's Christopher there. So you'll see here, we'll try for IRNT right now. So we're gonna try for 100 shares. So we push submit, and then it's gonna show us.
Higher.
It's going to show us the price. So let's see, what was it, 240?
267 the last time.
Okay, so here it is. So it's still $2.67. So for me to borrow, you probably maybe can't see that, but for me to borrow that, it's $267. So which means on IRNT, we need to get that through. So you can. I'm not going to accept it right now. I mean, you can accept or reject it. I'm going to reject this right now, and then hit submit and not pay for that, because again, it's not like Neil said. It's not that you don't think you can make $3 on it. It's just like, you got to wait to see what happens. If you get up, even if you get up to 55, it takes me a couple seconds to do that process, right? So it's not the end of the world. It is nice to have on board. But for 100 shares, like if you take 500 shares, that's going to be like $1,100. So you just got to be careful on that one as well. But IRNT, Neil just talked about it there. A Russian cybersecurity firm, we should be all on board there. I think they have maybe the best hackers in the world, as far as we know anyways.
It's probably the greatest firm ever.
Yeah, exactly. So it's probably like the best firm of all time. So, but we are not endorsing going long here. It's just that, wow, what a good move for IRNT. And I'm glad to show you that pay for short process there. Maybe some of you might think that's worth it. Phone up your broker, see what your rates are, put them in the chat there. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's free to check.
All right, let's go to Dutch Bros, BROS. We had that TMC to watch this morning as well. The metals company, another former SPAC we talked about with Lewis there a bit if you joined us early on this morning. But coffee chain, Dutch Bros, making their debut yesterday. Look at this thing at session highs right now, trying to hold $40. So nice look here. Another 10%, guys, for the IPO from yesterday.
Sometimes it's the quiet one that gets here, right? And like the opening trade on that would have been redonkulous. So we can just throw that out. And the outside of 40, which is essentially breaking right now, the volume's not huge, but it's certainly going through. 36 and then 38, those are the other two levels you have. You had an afternoon break there. When that 40 seller came in, the afternoon show that we're looking at, that first stalled out here and bounced off of 38 and consolidated. So that's where I'm going to look for on any kind of a dip. I'd be involved in the break after it opens up, but I'm sort of scared off by the lack of. It has a lack of volume, but then just here, like you get these random. It was just, as I said it, there was an iceberg I was about to show you that was like scaring off, and it just broke a 40-30 iceberg. So that actually just, as you saw live, just broke it up like 50 cents there. And there's been these icebergs all over the place. So I guess it's on the run now because that was a major break iceberg. That's what was holding it in this cluster before. So I now have to adjust and I always do this. Anytime you get a break of a level like that, your dip buy, I pull it because if it were to print that, there's no way I'd want it. If it's consolidating off a lower high and drops, fine. But after it breaks a top, you need to reassess, and that reassessment would take me to about 39 even here, as you can see this level and there. So I'd probably be looking dip buy at 39 instead.
So as soon as we hit accept on that, we're able to trade it pretty much in seconds. So there is that. But you know what, guys? I mean, we're starting it off already here today. So we'll just dap it up because if anybody took that off of I guess my sticky note, it's on our watch list here. You'd have that 40 with me. And we started the show talking about it. There it is. So we took that 40. Now we're in the money $1. So, well, 80 cents. We'll see if it continues to go to the high side. I do want to get a piece out. Like if we break through 41 here, we'll take a piece of that out, and then we'll see where we go from there. But up to 41. My target, honestly, I have an offer right now at 41.75. So if you go up there, that's just a random price target. We'll see if we could take the $1.75 on it and then watch to see what happens with the rest. But I like Bros here. We've already took it. It broke this level. We'll see what happens. I mean, there's a lot of love for this name. I don't know anything about it, but other than the coffee's supposed to be pretty damn good. And we'll wait to see what happens. Now, the closest location, I believe Brendan said to us, was Oklahoma. So we won't be able to get any of that right now. But 41 break could be good. And then we'll see where we go from there. But hey, now that I'm in the money, that's why I want to take the $1.75. Because if we come back to 40, I want to make sure that, where am I going to get out? Maybe 39-ish if it does break back to the downside. So, put some money in our pocket. Make a winning trade here. So, Bros right now, I like it. Here it comes, man. It's already there. It is. I mean, right now, we'll see if we can get that. But it's a chicken dinner winner to start the show here. If you want to take out your $1, there it is. You can have that. But we will wait now until Bros is probably using McDonald's beans. I love McDonald's beans more than Tim Hortons, but I guess that they're using their own beans. But here we go, straight to the upside. Let's see where Bros goes from here.
Let's quickly talk about OfferPad here as well, guys, because this is another SPAC. I feel like a broken record here, or former SPAC that is now trading under its own symbol, OPAD. You can see just going back a week or so ago, this thing joined the NYSE. So again, if you pull up any of the recent conversions that have gone from a SPAC to their own symbol, the daily charts all look like this. And here's another one, up 35%. Yes, there is a little headline this morning. They closed a deal for $300 million on a credit facility, but I mean, there's something with SPACs here.
If you would like to reduce the cost of selling your own home, please take advantage of OfferPad. I don't know. That's hey guys, I'll show you. No,
paid for advertisement.
No, I'm just kidding with that one. But look, these SPAC runners, this is the flavor right now. That's the reality. And that's why we're going to be trading. We're day trading show. Previous 16 level, you can see here, and obviously it's going to be a bit of a dip buy situation. I'm giving it 15.75 to 16 even, just because when you pull it in here and look when it's been testing that level, it's kind of gone down a little bit more. So I feel like it's a little bit bullish. as long as you want to be above that level. The volume, however, has been tapering off. So if it were to break lower, this could be something that could fall for the rest of the day. I do like the notion of, if it pops up and then fails at the high, like you're currently at 17 bucks. So right at 9:30, if it were to go up and not halt, this is exactly 10%. So if that first candle goes up 10% and resists a halt off the high of the day and falls, or attempts to break the high and then flushes back in, a lot of times that can be a nice little shorting opportunity for you there. 19 even stands out for an obvious break. I like the fact that you have this little cluster here below that, so you can take a shot at the short in front of it with a tight stop and then still be open to the 19 break. And it's a similar setup to what INDP was yesterday, where gave you the good short in the pre-market, and then the top break was absolute bonkers because it halted above that. So you were long, and then you ended up holding into the halt instead. So OfferPad provides you with both those opportunities. I'd like to be able to take advantage of both of them. It doesn't mean it's going to pop to 18, 20, 18, 30 for that shorting opportunity in front of the high, but that's what I want to be geared up for. And we're still trading that CI back and forth a little bit here, and Tesla's barcoding. But I'm still sitting in front of that 755. I have a hard stop on that as well.
Okay, so yeah, just looking here at Clover, 850 there. We like that one, and Lucid right now going nuts a little bit up to $21. Like, I don't know. They had that lockup expiration, right? And we were short that name. I don't think I can find it on a 15-minute chart. But let's look back here. The recent, no, that's still Clover. Come on, let's change the charts here. They touched down. I thought it was, I was going to say 15. Like, this was a disaster day, man. You weren't here, but this was a big move to the downside. We actually hit this, and then we lost it going short all the way back up. But Lucid right now, like, that was on their lockup down to 15. What a great buy that was. Congratulations to anybody that did that. But right now, it looks like you're trying to break through this 21 mark, which looks pretty good to me. A long back to 20 is good too. So, I mean, if we can get anything back here to 20, I think we like Lucid. But I'm very, very nervous. Okay, here we go. Come on, bros. Just get me out. We're 10 cents away now from grabbing $1.75 on this bros trade. So, anyways, Lucid back to 20 is not horrible. And what I was going to say, or what I am saying, is that I don't love any of these. Still, I don't love any of these EV names, man. You see Fisker today, but maybe Lucid is the one. I'm not smart enough to figure out which one's going to work, but yeah, Lordstown, so Ride as well. I mean, there's lots moving around. We just have to wait to see which one's going to be the eventual winner. And I don't really feel like putting any money into those. As a day trade, they're great, so we'll wait to see if it comes back to 20.
Yeah, I saw they launched a new sedan model today. Was really the only thing on Lucid. Leap Therapeutics, guys, one of the little ones, bottom end of the list this morning. It's worth noting this thing's already come back a long, long, long way. It's hard to get involved when this is your risk and then this is your possible profit target. So we'll see what happens here. The only notable level that I found on a daily chart is $3. So any kind of bounce into 275, 280 might be worth a look on LPTX, guys.
All right, we just took a monster there. We just took a monster winner there on bros. We actually waited for 42 and got that. So we actually pulled our 41.75, got out there at 41.90 or 41.93 or 4 right there. So that's a nice $2 winner on bros off of that break. So we're already starting the day off pretty good here. We just need that CEI to come back to the downside.
Just that LPTX, I do like, and of course, the 3 is going to stand out. If you go to the daily chart, it's reversed, and I like the setup. Whenever a stock has an obvious resistance level like this, up at like 3 to 320, where it's reversed every single time. When it does that in the pre-market, I like shorting a lower high. That coincides with this lower high right in here around 255, 265 areas. So when it broke this 285 down here and then made the lower high right in that target range, you're kind of going to see that I'm already offering in front of it. Just in case we pop back into the upside. I got in and out flags. I'm like, oh, that's too low at 254. I'm like, I don't want that trade. Let's wait for it to come up to 65 where we got it short, took some out for the 10-cent winner. I did not take any out at 45. I will offer if it pops into this range, take the short at the open, wouldn't let it pass that 65 mark. So that's my plan of action on that LPTX with 2 minutes to go. Yeah, I mean, someone talking about Virgin Galactic, and wow, that's not much to move. It's only about 20 cents or so, so I'm not too interested in that one. Just had to check it out because I saw you guys talking about it. IronNet, just very quickly, because this name is on everyone's mind. It is still on the New York, Neil. It's still on the New York. I always hit that instead. If it goes down to 36, 37 without halting, it could find some support down there. If it breaks the high, I'm going to check in to see how expensive it is to pay for shorts. If it comes down, I'd be a little bit surprised, but you never know. I mean,
I'm
the
just
price
typing in the chat here, wow, bros. Like now you're up to $43. So again, a quick 8 to 9% here from 40. You're getting $3 on 40. So we're starting to go up now. 43.50 actually it just touched out on here on bros. So I don't know where this is going to stop. Who knows? But we're nicely in the money now. So good move there, man. We're really bullish here on bros. I mean, we could fall right back in. We'll watch it, but I don't know. We already took out half there. So hopefully it continues to go to the upside there. Palantir, let's just dap up on that one as well, because Palantir just continues to be a nice little mover here to the upside as we just keep on taking out some of these highs, and we're right at that level that we're worried about, 27.50. So let's go hard on that one. If we break that through 27.50, that should be a good one. I mean, again, the Nasdaq's down though, so not too sure what Palantir is going to do. I want to buy any dips on this name, so we'll keep Palantir on the radar as well. But we'll put a breaker trade through 27.50 as well on that one, and then if we can. Yesterday's bottom 26.50. So if we can come back in, we'll take some longs into that as well.
Absolutely. We're about 30 seconds to go. It is Thursday. I'm assuming Randy's going to be on the bell because Randy is here. And usually when he's here,
wait a minute, Randy's
he's going to
here?
be on the bell. There he is. He's swinging it around. So you kind of get the feeling that he wants to hit the bell pretty hard here. So cover the ears, turn down the volume, do whatever you have to do. It's a wild one. Already names on the move here with your Ironnet and bros making power moves. But 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Randy, take it easy, buddy. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go.
Okay, good. That was doable. Okay, so right now we will wait to see what's going to happen now. Palantir, we still have that 27.50 on our watch here. CEI starting to move back to the upside. That's not going to work out too good for us here. Let's wait to see if we get 175. One more short here on CEI. We'll do it, and then we'll be done with that one. But we're going to wait to see what happens with this CEI and bros right now, guys.
Yeah, just watching Beyond Meat try to get to the upside at the open here. It does break that 108, so I don't love it. Tesla just came in. I'm only giving that to 1 to 55, so relatively tight stop on Tesla, which should already be in. So it's giving me an in and out for me on Tesla. If it holds 56, I might take a quick look at it. But the NASDAQ already making a power move into the downside. Like, how did I get stopped on Tesla when NASDAQ making that power move? So I want to look at Beyond Meat here. It's still holding below that 109, but I want it back below 108 before I get too interested in shorting in the volume. Just not there. I'm kind of disappointed in Beyond Meat that the volume not too big off the open. There's your first little bit of a downtick. So now I'm going to look to get into that short.
Yeah, I've got you on that one. Yeah, that's a crazy one there. Okay, so right now, bros, 41.50. We're going to get out if it goes to the downside there. We will watch that one. We do have INDP breaking through 14 now, so this is going to be one that we're going to have to watch as it takes out that 14 level, and then we'll see what happens to the high side. Where am I long here anyways? 14.10, so okay. If we can get a 14.50 here on INDP, then we will get out some of that for 50 cents here. I don't know. It broke, but it's not really going crazy like we thought it would on that 14 break. So not a great one right here, but we are into a few other ones. Bros just comes out, so we take that profit out at 41.50. Spread a little high there. I mean, if it runs, but that's a good trade for me anyways. We'll wait for it, and here it goes now. Let's see if we can get it out. There it is. Yes, sir. So let's see if we can't hold this now. INDB on the run here. Let's see where we go.
Yeah, I'm looking into that one about like 16, 17. That's going to be the fade.
Palantir
There goes Iron
also,
T just went. Iron T just went like down $7 here, but not quite to that 36. It's getting pretty close to that dip by Brennan already.
Yeah, I'm just going to mention Palantir, guys. There was a new deal announced. It looks like this WEJO teaming up with Palantir on a deal this morning. So monster volume spike there at the open for PLTR.
Yeah, INDP long 14 here now working. We just got it out at 80s there, so that's a good trade for me. Out at 80 there on INDB. So now we still have one little piece left. Let's see how far this one wants to run. Palantir, good call there. Breaking through 50, we grabbed it. We got out at 64 there. So now we're still holding some on Palantir, but we got 55. So the 50 break gives us 55. So not a great break there for that. But right now we're cooking with gas right now. Big trading here today, guys. Hopefully you're enjoying it.
Yeah, Beyond Meat, look at how quickly that just turned around on a dime. So try to get 8s, try to get 78 there. 078, I should say. Now we're getting down towards those pre-market lows. If it can bounce off that level, I'll try to get the retracement, see if we can pick that one back up. Ironnet is coming to the downside. And again, if it was, I probably would be in the short of this thing if it was a reasonable price, but for $2.70, no way I'm going to pay that just yet unless we get a big parabolic mover. It's getting very close at 36, 37. If it goes there now, decent chance that it could halt. And if it does halt, I'll look for a re-entry off of that trade. And I'm going to kick myself over Tesla not giving it like an extra few pennies there, which would have been the way to do it. This is me on the short in Tesla. This is me making the top wick. This is Tesla now down $4. So like I always say, like it's not just about the call to the rollover. You have to execute the trade properly.
Ooh.
And probably too lazy with an even stop there.
Wow, guys. I mean, let's just go, man. Let's just throw this around. Look at Palantir, man. We talked about that 2750. We said it would be a bigger trade. There it is, man. I mean, cash money right there on Palantir. Go, man. 20. And again, you know, anyone watching this trade, we talked about this for a long, long time. We've loved Palantir here. I was calling this $28 when we were down here at 21, 22. I said next stop 28, so we're right here right now. Good trade here for Palantir out. So we emptied out 60% of that on that move to the upside there. So we're just going to try to get aggressive with it. The NASDAQ's starting to pop up here, so we do like the longs that we do have on board now. Palantir 25 cents in the money. INDB P tried to go to the downside there, didn't. We're going to get out if it breaks through 1350, man, and just make sure that we capture most of this profit. We're out at 2/3 of this trade already as well.
Wow,
so yeah, man, everything making those moves, man. We're making some nice money here as Bros here.
I knew it was going to get sent.
Yeah, it comes out.
I knew it was going to get sent.
Well, because you know why? We do bangs here on the show, so that's part of it. So let's just
That's why.
Let's bang it off on the Bros. Hopefully I covered myself there. But let's go to the upside here with Bros.
Sometimes you just got to keep it real, right?
Yeah,
like,
man.
let's
I mean,
be
whatever.
real.
That's what
Come on,
happened.
son. It's all good as far as I'm concerned. Lucid going absolutely bonkers here as it goes right through that 20 and chews through a knife like butter, but like a knife through butter, I should say. But this INDP turnaround, like I said, I wanted to hunt for a short in this stock today. 15 on a dime has held. So, I mean, that gives you an obvious stop in a breakout price. So it does the break, comes right back in, all the way to $13. So $1 up and then $1 down here on INDP. And if it's going to be a short, when this stock falls, it's just an absolute death. So if we can hold the downside of this, I just got finally beyond me to the short side in front of 108. I want to play this one INDP either off the 14 level first. I want to see a test here now, or if it breaks off of 15 into the short side. And IronNet just about to halt to the upside here. I can't flip to it. I want to see if I can pick up some shares. Quickly put a stop in just in case it makes a breakdown and does not halt. There's no guarantee. Oh, we get it, and then it doesn't halt. So it resists the halt on IronNet like craziness. Of course, it's going to resist that halt into the downside. So we're going to quickly go in and out of IronNet.
IronNet is $13 right now?
No, 43. Sorry,
Yeah.
I couldn't switch the chart from INDP because I had to manage the trade. It did resist the halt here on IronNet. I'm going to show you quickly if I can. It's still on the New York, Neil. It's still on the New York. It looks pretty tight, but this is a structure that we pulled off yesterday, right? If it looks like it's halting into the upside, you just jump on the bid. But if it does not halt, you've got to have a quick stop, because if it breaks, it is going to be ugly. It's going to go down heavily. So that's why you saw me getting out right away. It's a long way here, 45, instantly out here like 44 and a half. If it does halt up, I'm thinking it's going to like 48, 49, but you can't hang on to that trade. You've got to be in, you've got to be out rather quickly. A lot of the times that can make it a bearish play after, but I didn't pay for the short, so I can't do it.
Yeah, those shorts are too expensive. Okay, so INDP here. We did get out at that 1340 or whatever, or 1350 there break. So unfortunately there we don't have that on board. If we still did, it would be basically a flat trade right now. So we're gonna watch out for INDP here going, and look at Palantir, by the way. We got that out, we got a piece out here. We still have a piece on board. So this is a big trade for us on Palantir. Not only is it a big trade, but we're spending the money because this is a big trade for us in our own account as well. You guys know, thank you, Ms. V coming. Don't want to hit her. You guys know about this hat here, Palantir Investor, right there. So thank you.
Oh wow!
To Trader
How did I miss that? You've got to be kidding me.
What happened now? IRNT again?
How did I miss that trade? You've got to be kidding me. Sorry, INDP just made an absolutely ridiculous move into the downside there when it failed at 15, and I missed that top. I was right there trying to offer 1490s and couldn't get it, and it absolutely died in flush. I'm going to put a starter position on here because now I want to short it in front of that lower high at 14. I think that was that Brendan again?
It was. What up, Brendan?
Another one, guys, EA just popping up here back to 140. That was resistance pre-market. Volume alert there just went off again. They came out and said there was some talk yesterday about delays. They came out after market saying not going to be as bad as they thought. So big pop back to the upside here for EA.
Okay. Yeah, let's look at some banks here. So we still on this CEI. I don't know what's happening with this one. It's not really doing anything. That TMC, though, that was a trade that I should have had as well, as that just goes right to the downside. NQ, I believe it went to the downside TMC here. Let's hold on a second. If my charts can load up here at some point. Yeah, there it is. So failing off that $15 level, this is the metal company or something like that. Straight to the downside right there early, making that bottom at 1250. And now it's starting to come to the backside here a little bit. 14 is where VWAP is. I don't know, that might be a good short as well for this name. We're going to have to watch out for the NASDAQ. Kind of just bouncing around now, not doing a whole hell of a lot. So we do expect that there is a monster rebalance tomorrow coming through. So we have to watch out for that one. But INDP still on watch. And then Bros, man, we did good on that one. That was a good in and out for me. That's going to be, well, it's my number one stock so far. But Palantir starting to make moves as well. Wow, Bros went all the way back down to 40.50. So in there, a couple outs. We missed that 43.50 high, but at least we got it at 42. So that was a good $2 winner.
And just if you're checking in on that Greece stock, by the way, it fell $3 at the open, so it still has yet to catch a bit of a bid, unfortunately, for anyone still holding the bag on that name. I did get the short on INDP in the 20 range, so 13.25, we got it to start the position. Then BYND, Beyond Meat, I can say Beyond Meat. The second time through, I missed it at the open. I did get it the second time through, 107.77, oddly is my price. Low of the day is 106.5. I'll definitely take some out in front of that, see if we can't get out for a small winner there. And of course, Tesla fading back into that 750 level. Do want to get to one other name because we mentioned Moderna. I don't want to completely ignore it, but it did touch that 444 without breaking 445 and has since started to come back in. I said I wanted to play the periphery of that range, so I'm going to go ahead now and try to catch some shares. Of course, if it were not for that IronNet debacle, well, it's not a debacle. It's just the fact that it grabbed my attention when it looked like it was about to halt. I love those trades. I did miss out on the push to the upside in Moderna. That was a level I liked. I wanted to see if it could hold. It has held that offer, so I am now looking for the short side of the trade. IronNet dropping like an absolute rock. So when you resist a halt, sometimes it's the short entry, but if you didn't pay for the shorts, you can't do it.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we do like that Beyond Meat short. That's a good one for sure. Okay, so Clover now taking out 850. So, yeah, first of all, so we're long Clover 850. So we talked about that over and over again, in the pre-market with the new deal with Medicare here. But I thought I wanted to get LVS short. What, did it not fill? Like, what's going on here? No, my order goes out and does not fill. So we tried to get this short through 75 here as LVS starting to go to the downside. I want this name short. I was trying to get it through 75. Again, missed my order. So I don't know what's going on. I got to use a different routing key, I guess. But that happened to me yesterday as well on AMC. So damn it! Or darn it, I mean. So we'll do some backflips for some of our trades, but there's LVS, man. We just talked about that. It's one of the only names. We only have 4 names on our list here. It's Beyond Meat short. Neil's got that. And then LVS, man. We're just trying to find bottoms there, and we had LVS on our list, and unfortunately, it just tanks now down 20 cents. And damn it, we missed that LVS trade. Oh, well, you can't get them all, but I put the order out there to grab that trade. We just didn't hit it enough. And where the trade was right here, in my opinion. It tried to go back to the upside, and then as soon as it broke 75 there, that's what I wanted. And unfortunately, the order misses. So we'll cancel the order now and wait to see what happens. We have Tesla on watch now as well.
Yeah, I'm kicking myself. Well, I'm not. I shouldn't be because there was a ridiculous price to pay it on Iron.
Yes,
that 270. The 124 in the pre-market when I sat down might seem reasonable now, but it halts down. So remember I talked about that failed jailbreak and why I wasn't even flipping the stock because I wanted to make sure I could get out and take $1. And it's $1 hit at the end of the day, but it falls a good $6 and halting to the downside in front of that support level at 36. So when IronNet opens back up, that's what I'll be looking down towards. Beyond Meat, I'm going to look for a rinse and repeat if I can get it. But it just resisted the pre-market low. Now, the first time through, if I got the 108 short, I probably would have been taking it a little bit lower, a little bit closer to 106.5. I get 106.90 there, guys. So as it comes back up to that 108, I'll see if I can rinse and repeat it in front of that level. But it's not exactly churning through volume here. So volume's starting to taper off a little bit. I don't know if Beyond Meat's going to be quite as exciting as we thought before. And then INDP, which of course is the other crazy stock. Now, this is a different story. I don't actually have a good excuse for not being short here at 1470 because I was watching that 15 area and I had actually put in a preemptive stop order and was ready to hit the short if 15 had held. So I had my stop in place. I just completely missed it, and I thank goodness I didn't curse on air, but it dropped like an absolute rock. And then right below that 14 into consolidation here. I'm now shorting this consolidation a couple of times because the first one was from inside. So let's see if it can't push down. When this was a sell, it was a sell for the rest of the day and just absolutely wouldn't stop, which I should be showing you guys. And this is what I mean. And look where it spiked to, right? You have that halt up, and it spikes right into what was the support before that halt down, which is that 15 area. And so if we can hold this cluster, no reason why we're not testing 12, and then from there, maybe even 11. So it doesn't mean it's going to happen. If we had a crystal ball, things would be a little bit different, but I love the setup. The rejection at 15 is huge, which does set you up, of course. I'm only giving this to 14 even, because if it breaks that, you got to be hunting for a 15 break at this point. If you're not, I don't know what you're looking at. Double top at 15. On a level from yesterday, yeah, that'll be all systems go. But for now, the short side is on.
Look, we're happy, but we'll fire off some hot dogs for anybody that held. We didn't hold, but that doesn't matter that you didn't, maybe. You guys held, hopefully, Bros, as it just goes up to 44 there off that 40 bid. So that was a good one, man. Hopefully, Bros can continue to go to the upside for everybody, and we'll see about that. So right now, Bros looking like it wants to go even more, man. Now we're consolidating right there. This 43 bottom might be decent. I may go short through 43, but if we do that, our top's 44 and change, so we'll wait to see. 43 break on Bros might be something there. What's Brendan?
Another big mover here, guys. Aerie Pharmaceuticals out aftermarket. Looks like yesterday with some negative results on an eye treatment, dry eye treatment. So huge move down aftermarket. We're coming back to that 12, which ended up being support there for AERI.
Life is moving again? That stock?
Life, yeah.
So I just got into Moderna, by the way. If it breaks the high, the current high is just below 446, but I always give it a little bit more room off of those levels. But Lucid, because this just got my attention a little bit more, even though I just got the fill. Lucid just dropped like a rock, but $1 here from the top. And there was a consolidation down here like 2060 before it broke to the upside. I mean, it kind of feels like the air just came out of this, but I'd be looking down to that level to see if it can't catch a bit of a bid. So I only find myself in 4 shorts, and the one that I should be in, and I'll come right back to it, is Tesla. Yeah, that's fine. Tesla's going to be down, and I wanted to be the fade. It was the first thing I looked at to the short side today, and of course, it's down $5, and I'm not in it. So we talk about the winners, talk about the losers, we talk about the missed opportunities. INDP is starting to move into the downside. When it gets into that 1250 range, this is where I have a couple of bids to get out. If it breaks 12 even, I would anticipate as a chance to halt. If it doesn't halt, then certainly it could catch a bit of a bid. But I'm short side of this. As long as 15 is holding, I only want to be in the short. I don't even like the 14 break, even if I am putting a stop on this trade at 14.
Okay, so we're gonna. People yelling at me to get out of CEI here. So
where is that?
I know you covered it, but I'm gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait a little bit here on CEI. I mean, I don't know where it's gonna go from here, but again, if I cover now, then I'll feel bad because it's at this breaking spot. And if you look yesterday here, 175 is right there. If we call up a 50, I forget about a daily chart, but there's 180 on the daily chart. I mean, could we break to 240, 250? Yeah, we probably could. So we're not going to hold this all day or anything like that, but right now we are at a tipping point for me, so we are getting close to having to bust out of that one. So CEI right now could bust us. We'll take one more short into this 180 area, and if that doesn't work, then it doesn't work, and we'll just eat crow on this one. But right now, CEI to the upside. Palantir still working though, man. We're really happy with that one. That's been a hot dog fire off as well. Up to 28 and resisting, but we're still in this. So again, 20, 40, 60, 80. We still got 20% left on this one. It's been a big trade for me, needless to say. And then Clover right now, we're trying to get this one work. We went through 850. I don't want to average into this because again, I thought this would be a good story for Clover. It looks like it is, but we still has work to do here. So Clover still getting up to the upside. If we can get near the 60s again, we'll take a piece out on Clover. But again, it's not a huge spot. But, I do like it. If it can break higher, then we'll start to really trade this thing if it starts to go. But right now, we're holding this here. We'll see what happens back down to 820, 830. I want to take another piece right here, and then we'll hold it back to 8. But again, I just feel like there's not that much happening in the market right now. So we got to wait. Go ahead, yeah.
I'll get to Moderna in a second because it got like some 45s up there, and then it came smashing down into 42, took some profit. But IronNet, I found a 36 level. Just trust me on this. I don't want to pull it back so you guys can see the halt price in the break. There was a 36 from yesterday as support. When it halted down and reopened and then held above that 36 level, it's a breakout trade at the previous halt price. We've done this trade before. I forget which stock it was, and I apologize for not remembering off the top of my head. We're going to rinse and repeat it here. Going to quickly take some out if I can. Oh, wait a minute. That's an edge A stop, so I got to make sure I do this. And then take some out in front of 40 even. I'll just use a different, let's use my script order stop. I'm saying all this to myself.
It's good. The market's going
guys.
down, so if you have the shorts.
No, I'm long on the breakouts. 38.27. We just took a buck 50 out of it, and now I'm going to maintain. This is now a stop at that 36. I don't even care if it breaks this 38.25. It's a stop at 36, or if it halts to the upside, I'll probably try to hold through that halt into the upside and then see if it can't get back into that resistance where it rejected hard at 45. So jailbreak on IRNT. This is the down halt. If it opens up and holds the first support level, and I can now go back and show you guys here, this is 36 in the afternoon, right? Cluster at the top, and right at the aftermarket when it tried to go, it held 36 even. So the second I saw it bounce in front of that level, it becomes a breakout here. And you only do this if you can find a support level below it. We did find one. We take advantage of it. While this was going on, I should hit a key for it, but this is beyond meat. Cracking through the low. We rinsed and repeated that short in front of 108. It's now down at 106. So, and again, it's not to sit here. I can hit a key for that. We'll do this. Beyond meat, double top here at that 108 level. We got it both times. I took some out in front of pre-market lows. I took some out here at 106. Quickly grabbed like almost a $2 winner on that. While all of this was going on, Moderna made this move into the high of the day. I was able to take the first time. Yeah, so the 443 short into VWAP, and then it double topped here at 445, which I grabbed. This one, again, I'll scalp off for a couple of bucks here. So a couple of $2 scalp trades in Moderna. If it takes out a fresh high at 46, I'm out. Otherwise, I'm looking for the rollover. I know I just chewed a lot out there and spit it out pretty quickly, but a lot just happened very fast. So I had to get it out as much as I could. Miss V?
I believe.
Hey Neil, if Factor Therapeutics spike at the open, now stock is up around 7%. Could you please take a look at EFTR for us?
Isn't that... Okay, so anyways, why did I not get stopped out of...
What was
Moderna?
happening?
That's weird. Okay, so I did not just get triggered. My stop on Moderna... Oh, I see what. Okay, I made a keystroke on my stopper. Every now and then that's going to give you either good luck if it goes down or bad luck if it goes up. But I meant to be out if it broke 446, and it did tick up. So I might get really, really lucky there. But that EFTR, I'm going to go to it quickly. I remember this name because it was a previous... If it wants to load up, it was a previous spike and then I guess reversal trade that we were all over at top here. And I wish we'd gotten to this sooner, because when it made this move up, if you're not covering your long when it gets to previous support here at 22.75 or 23, then I don't know what you're doing, because you absolutely have to take that out when it gets there. Now it's on the reversal trail. I would kind of think to myself, okay, now the lower high of 21.5 is going to be your resistance. And if it does not break that, it is going down literally for the rest of the day till it gets to 18. That's my 2 cents and 2 seconds worth of analysis. Brendan?
Another big mover from the past couple of days, guys. Crocs just popped up at all-time highs again. 2.5% here for Crocs again today, above that high from 2 days ago.
All right, we just got into Clover. Me and Neil just talking about there's a lot happening right now today. And I haven't even been able to really look at those IRNTs or INDB backside here. Clover does fall back in here. So again, you know, what we thought was going to be a big move today for Clover was up 5% or so at the top. And again, it's not a big position. We've actually doubled it now, so that's where you're going to see that average price. And again, I just think that we should hold this all the way down through here, through 8.15 there, something like that. These bottoms on the daily, I mean, it gets lower than that, but if you check it, oh no. Oh, come on. So we have a frozen chart again here. So, but anyways, we'll close that program and then wait to see what's happening here. But anyways, Clover, we'll open up a 15-minute chart, but I want to hold it, and you know, it's coming to the downside, so it's not great. But I want to see what happens at $8. If we lose on this one, we lose on this one. It's been a good day otherwise. We just have CEI right now. Palantir, guys. I mean, we'll just keep celebrating that one. How about this? Because you know, we're up now. We just cracked through 28, man. We only got to 28.01, but Palantir right now, long off that 27.50, just bangs it right there to the upside. So that was a good trade for us so far. So good on Palantir.
Oh, wow.
We're just going to hold this, man. Look at the NASDAQ fading, Neil.
Yeah, I mean, fading. Oh, I hit the wrong one. Whatever. Walking on water is fine. But INDP here.
Palantir.
It is INDP. I forget the name of the company. You said it very well yesterday in the trade of the day.
Indaptus.
Indaptus. So there you go. That's the first time I've said it correctly in 2 days. That ridiculous short off of 15 even, I didn't get. The lower consolidation we did get. 13.45, my last entry. I got a bunch out here between 12 and 12.40 for about $1 to $1.05. If it breaks this level, I'm just holding on for dear life. I'm trying to go over these as fast as I can. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than to be good, because I keystroked my stop on Moderna and should have been wicked out at 46. It then goes up 50 pennies and slams right back down. So I'm actually still in the short at 445. with a chance to take it out. Now, if it doesn't break 440 shortly, or I mean in the next like 10 or 15 minutes with the market coming down, not the best sign in the world, because obviously if we're going to be falling, you want this thing to work in your favor. To go over to IronNet, which was a fantastic breakout trade for me here, it did reject at 42. At this particular point, it's consolidating off of this low here at 39. I'm going to go ahead and say I would normally think about trailing this, but I'm going to give it now to the original breakout price at 38.25. Go break even plus slippage and give it a chance to take out 42 even on IronNet. Brennan again?
One from yesterday as well, guys. Canon just popping up again. Remember, big move down. They reported pre-market, got absolutely crushed. Just took out that low from yesterday on a big volume spike for CAN.
We had a trader named Canon.
Yeah, we did have a trader named Canon at one point. What's up, Canon? Hopefully you're doing well. I think he went back to China, I believe. Okay.
Didn't he have a Twitter? Never mind.
Yeah, he did have.
I now remember.
Yeah, shit Canon says it's on Twitter there. You have to set me up for those things. Okay, I want to look at something now. I don't remember what it was. Oh yeah, LVS, guys. LVS was a short that we were kicking ourselves for not having at 36.75 or so, and then it did come back up, and we've just sort of bounced around these levels a couple times. This is almost making me think of bullish sign here. Not really finding these bottoms too well, but wow, that 75 would have worked again here on LVS. This is not really the setup for me right now. This back and forth nonsense is not something that I'm super interested in. Clover trying to come back, which is nice. Okay, so that's LVS. There was another name I wanted to look at. There was Bros there. So right now Microsoft is falling. Oh, GREE. GREE approaching that $50 level as well. So a nice move to the back here, making that bottom one more time at 43. And hopefully you watched us in the pre-market. We talked about these levels, 42.85. If that broke, then that might be a good short. And that's why we didn't take it, because look at that. It hits it, then it's straight to the upside. So GREE right now, not much to look at, but we do have a level right now, $50. That can be one of concern. But the spread right there was just $1. So right now the spread is 90 cents. So you got to be careful with GREE.
That timing was a little bit better. I love because when you go to the two-shot, they look really good when the plane comes in, but on us individually, it's not as good. Anyway, it's just my. Is
that a chef's jacket though? I've always wondered about that. I don't know if that's a.
Rob's not even here to ask him what the deal is. I was quickly about to type in the chat and say, and I can actually cancel it now, that I was going to trail IronNet to 42. It finally broke through this 41 area and immediately started stalling out here where there was a cluster. This is a downtrend, man. It's still in a bit of a downward trend. So there was the good halt. I love halt plays. There was the good breakout off of the down halt to reopen, holding 36 support. That's going to get you to 41 and change here. We'll work out to like a $3.50 winner at the top end of it. Could it go to like 50? Could it go to 100? I'm basically never holding on to. You guys know this. I'm basically never holding on to those the entire time. You call it paper hands all you want, but I always take first and second levels every single time. Moderna, 100% right. Whoever put it in the chat, this is 1,000% a gift horse. At this particular point, because I keystroked it and I should have been wicked out. The level actually, the area holds at 446. So a lot of ways you don't want to be out of the trade because of that. But when you have a stop, and I intended to have a stop, you should let that one go. But by the time I realized I wasn't out, it immediately snapped back down. So there's zero reason for me not to just let it go. If it breaks 440, I'm looking back down into pre-market highs here, around 36 to 37 for a target, and my 46 stop is now in, and it's in correctly. So if 446 breaks on Moderna, I will be out like I should have been the first time. Stick to your rules, guys. I know I got fortunate there, but that doesn't mean it was a good thing. Beyond Meat is now consolidating below 106, and remember, if you weren't, and you should have been paying attention from 8:30 in the morning when we come on, but if you weren't, there is this level, and it's a chop level from like 100 into 106. If you look at this previous time that it got down to $100, it chopped around and then made its breakout from 106.50, and the top end here is 110. So below that range, I think there's a lot of room to hang on to this trade, but the reason I had to take some out in front of 106.50, on the back end, it's consolidating lower than that. I'm not at the point yet, and at 105, if that breaks, I will put a trailing stop in that if it goes back above that 106.50, I'm out of it. Otherwise, hanging on to the Beyond Meat short until we break 105, obviously.
Yeah, so 148.50 or so, we will get out of this Apple short. So we're going to average into the 148.25 or so area. that was my target, was 148.50 to punch out of it. But right here, 148.25 or so, that is the VWAP right there. So we will look to get out of that one, but we're going to average into Microsoft. Again, I just thought with the NASDAQ, I mean, now, of course, as soon as I get in, it starts to tick up, but that's okay. It gives us a better short. Okay, so we'll wait to see here. Apple, I don't want to give this one too much room because we know, I mean, the NASDAQ just slips up and just, you know, could start to rip again. So although I am obviously a perma bull, I have lightened up on some of these trades in the last little while. You can see I'm pretty short right now on some of these names. Clover back into the money now, so that was a good average. We're going to take the pieces out there. But right now we're going to watch out for Apple. There's Clover right now. So Clover right here making a move back to the upside, so that's good. Look at that average in. I think we should take something out here. If we can get a 46, we'll do that. And we'll see if we can get that print. But I don't know if we're going to get it or not, but we'll wait. There, shoot. Went all the way to 46 and we missed it. So darn it. Hopefully that can come back up. We are long Clover right here at 44. Oh, that went to 50 almost. Okay. I thought I have my offers at 53. So should have sat there at 50. We tried to get out right there, 53. But now Clover bouncing back off that reload. We should have took advantage of that and we didn't. So that's my bad. It would have only been a 4-penny winner, but we want to average out of it as well, just like we averaged in. So we'll put some offers upside. Hopefully we don't miss it. Like we just offered 46. It turns around and goes right to 42. So hopefully that'll come up and hit us. And sometimes that happens, you know, when you're adding shares to levels, you know, sometimes they see that, and it's not that there's anything honestly wrong with high frequency traders.
It's not even a sometimes thing, man. It's just the reality. I've said this to traders before. If you know you want to get out of shares on a momentum stock at a particular price, sometimes just having them out there well before it gets, because if you put an order, when it enters the end of a liquidity vacuum, sometimes putting an order entry, the algos will read order entry regardless of trade size. It's just adding to the book as signs of resistance and jump in front of it. So if you have it out there in the first place, it can be a little bit better for you. Life is gonzo, and apologies for not catching this because Brennan was all over this 5 minutes ago. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, 5 minutes ago when it broke 10. Sorry,
Life.
I saw Brennan put in the chat. It just was managing some of the trades here. Again, this is now $8 to $10.50. It's not the first time it's ran, so I tried breakouts. It was a good breakout. The top breakout, it was the luckiest trade I've had in the last couple of weeks because I got a top wick in front of this 13 even area. All to say that if it continues this push, the break that we had on the, I guess it was on the 14th here, this is at about 11.50. So I would put that in as possible resistance if it continues to go right here at around 11.50. Hunt for a short 11.50. If you're long, consider taking things out. No one ever went broke taking profits, which we've already done here on Beyond Meat. So look, it did just break 105 here. Whoops, it's on NASDAQ. It did just break 25, so 105. Very, very briefly, got to 90 and has now come right back. So we're still hanging on to the second time we got 107.80. It's a couple of bucks and two and a half in the money. Because it broke that 105, I now want to put my trailing stop in. I don't want 105 holding, and then it takes out that key level, that 106.5. Because that could be a jailbreak bottom, and if it's a jailbreak bottom, I don't want this thing going all the way back up to 109. I think there's some people that are waiting around for a chance to buy this thing, and I don't want to give up my profit when they start doing so. Brendan is at the big screen. Time for Happening Now.
Hey guys, yeah, 10 o'clock. Let's have a quick look at how things are shaping up so far. It's the NASDAQ that's leading here to the downside. So tech week, once again, you can see about 0.5% for both the composite and the 100. The Dow, the S&P, both about 0.3 in negative territory. Small caps trying to get back to the green side of the day, just 0.09% to the downside here in Toronto, 0.5% for the TSX. Couple things to note. We were talking about in the pre-market here, this other IPO from yesterday, ON Holdings, the shoe company from Switzerland, trying to get back to day highs here, up 5% from where it closed yesterday. Remember, had a bit of a weak close at the end of the session yesterday. Beyond Meat, on the other hand, not so much. Very, very weak right out of the gate here, 5% off the downgrade. 108 was that level. We're down to 105 for BYND.
Exactly. And look, Kyle Ward in the chat, of course you're 100% right. You guys know what I mean when I say, no one ever went broke taking profit. Yeah, of course you can go broke taking profit because if your expenses exceed your profit, then you can still lose. There you go. So that's 100% true. The euphemism is that in trading, you'll never actually have the perfect trade. So to suggest that, you're going to get a short here, and then wherever Beyond Meat happens to turn, I'm going to buy at the absolute bottom. that's whenever it happens, it's probably more luck than anything else. And I'll admit to it every single time it happens to me, make bottom or top wick. It's just one of those things in the markets that everyone sort of acknowledges to be true. I'm going to go ahead and cancel my offer on LPTX. I did and again, you will miss some of these trades. When things are moving at the open and I'm trying to trade IronNet and INDP and Beyond Meat and things that are really going, it's that small cap, which is simple, which can get out, sort of get out of the way here. And look, I can cancel my 258. I like this for a rollover at 930, the pop and roll. It missed my offer by 2 cents. It's now making fresh lows. So all I have is a trade from the pre-market here at 265. I wish it was more than that. If it breaks 230, I'll take some out and then see if I can't hold. It was a $2 stock. 193 was yesterday's close. I don't see any reason why, as weak as it's been, it couldn't go back there. But I will certainly get some out if it breaks 230, and even then still hold on to this short side trade. Moderna looking pretty good. That's still about $1.50 in the money to me. Beyond Me, like I said, 2.5. And then INDP, which is one of these halt stocks that we're all over, has caught a bit of a bid. I said I get a bunch out in front of 12, between 12 and 12.50 like we did. It's caught that bid, but let's keep in mind, in the morning, it had at 7 o'clock when some retail comes at 6, some comes at 7, some comes at 8. At 7, it absolutely dumped on the first volume spike from 13 into $11. So if it wants to hold this 13 level, I kind of feel like we're going to retest 12, at which point I'll probably consider getting out here if it bounces one more time. Otherwise, I want to now hold. I am not moving my stop, though. I'm not going to give it a 13 stop. I'm going to move my stop down to about 13.75, 13.80 from 14 on this trade. So a very, very slight adjustment, but I'm willing to give up and lose on the last of these shares to see if INDP can go down even further. And the reason why is this. When INDP made a ridiculously hard top, it was just so weak it had no bid. When I see it hold a 15 like this and the way that it sold at that price, I want to give it some room that was the top, and I've got the lower consolidation. If that's true, you want to be holding through low breaks and trailing it as opposed to sitting there and just taking smaller profit.
There we go. Finally, guys. I'm just sitting here watching this, the money fall down, hopefully, for us on Apple. Short. I mean, this is exactly what we talked about right here again. We talked about this on our sticky note this morning. If you can, I'll put it here in the chat. You can click on this if you're just watching this for the first time. Please hit the like and the subscribe, first of all, because that's what's most important. We want to get those subscriber counts up as well. But horrible. BYND, great short by Neil, man. 109 is what we looked for. I think you have 107 or 108. That's a great trade. LVS short as well. We missed that one. Bros, almost said that again. Bros long at 40 right now. We smashed that, man. Look to smash 40 long. Okay, and then Apple, look for it to break lower, but below 147.85 due to the rebalance and some short possibilities there, short coverage. So far right now, it looks like sticky note will be good again here today. So there we go, man. Apple with a nice cash out rate there, out of half. Could still not work for us. Who knows? Palantir, 50 cents in the money, still Rip City right there. And then look at Clover, man. Good outs. We got out at 50 there, or so 49, sorry. And our average price at this point, we had the same amount of shares. Remember, we were long at 50, then long again at 36, put our average price at 42. So these are nice outs there. It's only 4 cents and then 8 cents. But now we'll wait to see if Clover wants to take out the high, man, up 4%. Let's go rally cap time. What's up, Brendo?
Tech in general under pressure here today, guys. Facebook about 0.8 to the downside, just took out day lows there and immediately bounced right back. This headline just came out. They're going to take an aggressive approach or more aggressive approach to shut down networks of coordinated authentic accounts engaging in certain harmful activities. Nothing earth-shattering, but worth noting. NASDAQ under pressure.
Yeah, the NASDAQ continuing to fall here. I mean, I'm just sort of managing shorts. A strong one, however, is still this Moderna. So anyone watching this stock, just sort of note the relative strength in it. I know I've made money shorting it, and that's just playing off the range we talked about in the pre-market. Once it breaks 446 again, I am gonzo here. And that's I'm not reversing into a long. I'd rather sort of manage the shorts that we're in. But I think this one is showing definite signs of strength. Beyond Meat still looks pretty good. We're going to hang on to that one a little bit. I did want to. It was interesting because you had just mentioned Las Vegas Sands there, Sean.
Don't tell me.
And I pulled it up for the first time, but it just broke back up.
Okay, good.
So I do remember at 37.80 to 38, there was a seller. It's trying to hold 37 even here. If it were to break to the upside and somehow get close to positive territory, 38.05 is where it closed. I mean, 37.80 to 38 would be a short for me, at least an area to short in front of. We're not there yet, but I just remember that from yesterday's action, and I would hate to miss out on it. Greenidge. believe it or not, has caught a monster bid. So it's now at $50.
Yeah.
And it's $50 literally is the high, $49.97. I paid for the short here. And look, sometimes what goes up must come down. Sometimes what goes down must come up. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Really, just instead of yapping away. Anyways, I just got on the offer in front of 50 because it bounces off of 50. And I could have maybe just hit the bid there when it was actually at 49.5. I didn't do that. I'll wait in front of it here, but I'm shorting in front of that 50 range. If 50 breaks, I have no problem just taking it off and looking for something else. But Greenidge, you know what happened to this stock all yesterday's action. It was just ridiculously weak. It never really had much of a bid. It's now bounced off of these levels from the afternoon, but 50 is a big monster level here on Greenidge. If it holds that, the short should be fantastic. Brendan.
Another note on Lucid, guys. We saw that initial strength come basically all the way back. The U.S. government has certified their, which one is this? Air Dream Edition luxury sedan with a range of 520 miles. So that just came out there at 10 o'clock on LCID.
Yeah, Lucid's been rallying pretty darn good over the last little while. We've mentioned that on the show here. So LCID breaking through what, 20 earlier on today, and now okay, so you're still right here. So it's not like it's setting the world on fire here or anything. But Lucid right now up nicely today. That 3%. I'm never going to forget that day. It's too bad you weren't here. But it just like, was $20. It went all the way down to 15. This was all in the pre-market, and then it just started to go. So a nice move up to 21.60 today. Was that real? Yeah, there it is. Yeah,
oh, wow.
big fail top there for Lucid. So maybe we're into something right now. We can probably think about going long here. I'd rather wait until 20, but we are back into this consolidation area off the open. But Lucid right now, big fade off that. So I guess, buy the rumors, sell the news maybe. Coming to the downside now, LCID, but this is a good spot, 50. I can't pull the trigger on this, not on that chart, but we're getting ready to go back to the upside. Maybe it is worth it here at 20.50. Yeah, we'll try a little piece.
And if you ever see me, this is actually the way I was trading INDP to the short side and how you can stay positive when it goes up. Look, you'd agree. It's going to look like a nice little star because I have overlapping, if I zoom out, you don't see them overlapping, but a very, very tight stop at that 50 level. It's immediately come right back down on Greenidge. It doesn't mean I'm going to jam back into the short because the volume selling it back in is not certainly enough. So congratulations to the bulls. I'm out. I'm going to move on from this one. I do want to, and just sort of random that I'm going to come to Oracle here.
Look at Palantir.
So bear with me a little bit on Oracle, which is down 1.5%. It's going to seem random, and the market is heading to the downside, but they just reported. And Oracle is the largest in terms of share size and by total trade value of all the rebalances, the quarterly rebalances that'll be on the S&P that come here. So it is a monster sell imbalance, and it's worth watching stock. It's under pressure when they have a big imbalance coming on the Friday, which of course is tomorrow. I wish I had kind of paid attention to that when this was setting up for a break. If it pops back into the 87, you might see me dip into a short on Oracle if it catches any kind of a bid, but right in front of support at 86, I don't think it's going to be too much of an idea there. Beyond Meat, just to track back in on this one, it is now firmly below that 105. I've parked a bid in front of this 103. That's getting to that point where 100 is going to be support for a lot of people, 100 to 102.5. So I'll get out in front of it. I'll adjust my stop as it takes out levels to the downside, but for now, I'm willing to give it all the way back to 106.50. Beyond Meat continues to fall to the downside, and that GREE continues to battle at 50 even.
Yeah, CEI started to go for us downward there, and then it didn't. So CEI right there now trying to make moves back to 75, the high of the day. Like it was just down here at 65. Our short's 59. So, we weren't in that much trouble until this happened. And now we're going straight back to the upside here at 74, 75. There is a big level at 75, but that'll get busted, man. 85 million shares of a dollar stock. I mean, this is only 200,000 shares. So that's going to get killed if they want to. So I'm not playing that off any size. If you do see here, I'm going to give this one last shot. I mean, 180 is going to be the kill spot there. It's too bad because we're having such a great day. We're negative on nothing.
I'm going to hit
here
that
today, guys. Yeah, we're negative absolutely nothing on today other than this name, and we've been holding it the whole time, so that sucks. Apple comes all the way back upside there. We did cash out a half there. That was a good one. We're bouncing off of 148. So let's see, man. If the NASDAQ turns around, obviously we do like Apple for various reasons. We've talked about that, so let's see if it can make make a move back now to the downside. Here goes Apple. We are still trying to protect this one. I'm going to still use 25 here, even though view up has come down because of the price action, but we're still going to use 148.25 to get out of that one if Apple fails to go down and the market takes off here. We are going to watch out for that 148.25. We may even reverse into the long if that does come through, guys.
So I'm going to, on CEI, just because it's coming obviously to some key levels, this double top 180 that it had, and the 180, if you guys were in Memes and Movers, by the way, it's going back to 11 to 2 o'clock, just so you guys know. But I was listening in when Trader Prad was describing accurately what was happening at that 180 level the first time, and then it does the same thing in yesterday's action, just reversing in front of that level. So first short stunk, got in without knowing what the exact news was. Second short was good. Third short sucked as well. I'm down on the stock, but I'm looking at this 180 level. As it gets close, if it has another couple million share offer there that refreshes, I think it's worth a shot shorting in front of it. This Moderna, I should say this, Moderna is one of the largest upweights, which probably shouldn't shock anybody, for tomorrow's rebalances. So yes, this level has been good for breaking this range, but I'm definitely sticking to my hard stop. And maybe, I'm not sure that it can get down to this 435 now that I noticed that. So if it comes anywhere near this 437, 438, I'm going to go ahead and take my profit. As a matter of fact, I might as well just put a bid just in case it goes down here in front of this previous. I mean, you got the pre-market high here. You have these levels here that it's held. This is more in the afternoon, just that close price of 435. So let's see if Moderna goes to the downside. 446 is a hard stop for me. Beyond Meat has bounced back above 105, but like I said, we're holding on for dear life. INDP continues. I'm still on the 15-minute chart here. Continues its run to the upside, and I remember I said I'm willing to let this go in the last of my shares to be taken out here for a small loss. Because if this is the top and the stock is only going down from here, I see no reason it can't be closer to $10 or $11 after what I saw in yesterday's action.
Yeah, same. Okay, just making sure that we have the right orders here to get out of our trades, and we do so. Good. Just double checking some of these trades, guys. Okay, so let's, where is it right there? We'll cancel it. Okay, so Palantir, that's what we're looking at here. Make sure that we do have some orders and maybe to get out here. If we do break back down below 28, that's kind of what I'm debating right now. Like, is this 28 break right now something that we want to get out of? It bounced around 28. We made that move down to 27.70. We could have reloaded. We didn't. We should have. But again, this is what I'm excited about for Palantir. I've talked about this relationship before. Like, as the NASDAQ's coming down in here, Palantir, like, up almost 4% today. The NASDAQ is down. So, I mean, this is not trading the same, right? And when NASDAQ starts to tank, that's when I get a little bit nervous about Palantir, but it's kind of holding up okay. So that's what's making me think here on this last 20% that if the NASDAQ, and we're still 31 cents in the money, like, so we're 55 cents in the money on the Palantir long and 50 cents in the money on the Apple short. Right? And so that's where I'm sort of divided here, because if the market does tank, then, we do have the Apple trade, but then Palantir may or may not follow it. So that's, I'm sort of debating it. I may just get this out at 25 there for 75 cents if it comes back to the upside. But right now here, I mean, the tank is on right now with Apple. Now it's starting to go lower. The day's low on Apple right now is right where we're at, 147.50 right there. We did not reload at 148. Maybe we should have. But again, if this market falls today, which I am anticipating, I'm also anticipating a negative day tomorrow. So right there, watch out for this. Apple taking out these lows. So that's just a little bit of talk there on what we're doing here with Apple still moving to the downside. And again, 147.85. We talked about that on the sticky note. We talked about that all day today as well. So just be very, very careful with some of these trades, guys. The market's not really moving, but there are some names that are sliding down, including your Beyond Meat, I guess.
Yeah, that's continuing. It's continuous flush. And remember, I said I'm adjusting. Moderna's working for me, but I'm adjusting that as well. And like I was saying in the chat here, don't take any of the stuff that's happening when it comes to rebalances. Like, that means a stock has to go up or a stock has to go down. It just means that as a index gets reweighted, there are those funds that it'll track it that will be buying or selling, oftentimes at the close and occasionally at the opener throughout the day, that can affect the movement in the stock. And it does not mean that Oracle has to go down. It absolutely does not. I've already told you guys that I'm in Oracle. The two things that I trimmed recently we're only aiming at an Oracle, and I do believe in it. If it shows any weakness through 85, I think long term it's a buy for me if it gets down to that 78 to 80 level, but I wouldn't touch. I'm not doing anything with the stock in this range except day trading and wanting to fade it. If it gets shot at this high around 87 to 88, somewhere in that range, I want to be shorting this thing. If I can get it today, I will not chase it. I just happened to notice that it was a big sell and just wanted to point that out to you guys for tomorrow's action. Brendo?
This was about 9 o'clock, guys, but we were obviously looking at other things at that point. But this Liu Kang LKCO, we've looked at this before on the NFT side of things. They announced this deal with Microsoft on this eMap Go, which is going to be used for autonomous driving services in China. So LKCO had a big pop back at 9 o'clock, got all the way up there to 180, but fading off as well.
Neil and I just saying we don't really know that symbol, but then he just gave it to us. So
it.
LKCO. Yeah, so let's have a quick look at that one. Oh, $1.58. Okay, I see you there. Wow. Yeah. Oops. That's not LKCO, is it? Yeah. Okay. Looks a lot like CEI. I was like, oh, it's the same price as CEI right now. But hopefully CEI comes out at 58, then we have a winner. But LKCO there, nice volume today, 30 million shares. Good high sides of 180. And when we look at this, we always go back to see where there's areas of concern right now. 120. You get back down to there. That looks pretty good. But yeah, right at the 50-period moving average, 160. No surprise that we stopped here, though, because if you see this, you have these highs here. I mean, I guess I would have thought maybe it stopped at $1.90. $2 might have been something as well. So I don't blame anybody that held that for that move. But it does seem like 180 might be the top there on LKCO.
Big B, little b, what begins with B? Big things happening on BBIG. If you can't tell that literally every single night, for probably 80% of nights for the last year, I have read my daughter a series of Dr. Seuss books, which she's infatuated with, and they're great for actually learning to read, by the way, for anyone that doesn't know who Dr. Seuss is. But that's the first thing that came to my mind when somebody said BBIG in the chat. It was a couple of people, and it's like, that's where my head went, because that's what happens when you're a parent, I guess. Yeah. $8.80, $9. And if you can't see that on the 15-minute chart, then you're not looking at a 15-minute chart or any chart for that matter. The last couple of days, BBIG has been range bound at the bottom, and you've got this like 750 to 760 area, which coincides with, thank you for loading chart, which coincides with this breakout. And wait a minute, what was this?
Oh, your chart loaded? Look, that's awesome.
Where do we have a breakout in BBIG before, going back to the 7th? Oh, was that at 880? Yeah, 880 breakout, same range the day before. It puts in the support level right around 760, and then a top at 780. The next day it's a breakout at that price. We go all the way up. Okay, fine, we had some good trades up here around 12, but we'll go back to this same bottom. I don't know why I was trading it yesterday inside of this range. Stupid, 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 waste of time. Allow it to either get off the bottom and take the long, or wait for a break at 880. Top is 875, so I guess it's really not that bad to just say 875 round down in that particular case. But for those that are looking at BBIG, I like the breakout. Why not? Let's go 875 to the long side because it's close enough to 880. But that's setting up. It was a pretty good one that I didn't hang on to last time because I never really hang on to these things. My last out was when it got to like 940 in front of 950, which is what we do around here. So 875, 880, ignore my Dr. Seuss stuff and sort of focus on the trade idea, which sets up pretty nicely. And yes, it's exactly the same trade that we put on going back into, I guess it was last week. And we'll rinse and repeat a week later because the same range is setting up again.
Okay, so my little hedge here on Apple and Palantir is fine, but now the market's just dippity-doo, trying to figure out what it wants to do right now. So, I mean, that 15.4 is so key, and we break that. So now we'll wait to see 15.370 down here. I'm just trying to see. I mean, while I'm looking at this is the NASDAQ, and I'm not even I'm just ignoring the Apple chart because it's going to follow this. So if we come to the upside right now, we got to watch out for that 153.80 there. Okay, it doesn't matter. We're basically drawing at straws here. I mean, whatever the NASDAQ's going to do, it is going to do. So let's just get this chart back. And if you guys know anything about layouts, like you definitely want to have a similar layout because the minute something changes, you're like, what the heck just happened? Okay, so Palantir, again, it did make it move back. Okay, here we go. yeah, of course, now this is happening to Palantir. So I was just going to say, it made a move back to 20. We didn't get out. That was literally a couple of seconds ago. This is a 1 minute all the way to the downside there. So don't know why this is cracking so much, but Palantir is starting to crack. So let's get out here, man. If we can get some 28.15s or something like that, we'll get out of Palantir now. So again, it's still, we're still higher than our best out. Right now, it's still a 50-cent win, but we'll see if we can get some 28.15s or so and get out of Palantir here. It looks like it's trying to fall back down here. So I don't mind taking that out. So if we do that, we'll get out there, and then we'll have to watch our Apple go as that's coming back up now to the upside. So that sucks. Yeah, let's get out of Palantir and just work this Apple trade and not really worry about it.
I actually just tweeted this one out because I think it's worth stating, and I'll say it again if you're just tuning in. Me still being in Moderna is pure luck. I should have been stopped out. I did not get stopped out. It would have been a re-entry. I could definitely say, like, once it tested 455.50 here and didn't break 445.50 and didn't break 446, I certainly would have had a re-entry area around 444 if I had been flat and stopped out at the top. So it's conceivable that I'd actually be in this trade at a worse price again and holding on to it. But instead, like I said, I had the wrong price. And that could have been a huge loss. By the time I got to this, like, what if it was a breakout? Like, maybe I'm punching out at 449 or something and risking an extra couple of dollars. But it is sliding to the downside with the market now. So I'm going to get out in front of pre-market lows if I can. On Moderna, it is still working. Beyond Meat's still above 105, so that's holding. And actually clustering a little bit here. If you look at what's going on in Beyond Meat, it's forming a bit of a cluster. It's broken 105 now once, twice, and 3 times. It's still trending to the downside, and it might set up for a consolidation breakdown, which would still get me to 103, so that's still working out. And I did not get into, but I'm very close to getting short in that CEI off that 180 level. It got to 78. I wanted to peek at that 180 level. If it goes up there close again, I'll be short in front of that. BBIG breakout trade. Brennan at the big screen for small cap recap.
Hey guys, yeah, we'll start with the metal company. TMC is the metal company. Canadian as well, if anyone was wondering. Big move up to 1550 in the pre-market here, which if you look at the daily chart, ends up being these highs over the past couple of days. As we said, another recent SPAC conversion. So I was just waiting for 14 and then 14 and a half to break, or I think it was higher than that. I thought it was 16, but 14 was this support from the pre-market. Once we got below that, that was enough for me. So it goes, yeah, it was 14. 14 down to about 12, 11 and a half on the way down there. I took two shots at this. We're breaking to the downside. Still decent volume on TMC as we speak, guys. OPAD, this was the one that was 16. This is 16 here. Support throughout the pre-market. Gets below that. That was enough again, all the way down to 12 for OPAD. And then LKCO, this is interesting to me. 170 and then 180, which is that high. 170 on the daily chart's pretty big. So I just got involved in that. It's kind of late for me to do that, but we'll see what happens. 170 and 180 for LKCO, guys. Back over to you.
Thank you very much, Brennan. Quickly, Omar Isa, apologies if I'm saying it incorrectly there, but you're asking if there's support at 439.50 support on Moderna. I know it looks like it because you get these wicks down here. I don't know that it's traded enough in this range, or nor did I see like an iceberg or a buy or anything in that range that would give me an idea that it absolutely has to be. But if it goes down here again, because now you're really starting to actually test it, if it gets down here again and I notice something, yeah, I might agree with you on that and maybe get out at 440. But when it just wicks down into a price, it's hard to make that judgment. And then if you go, if I pull up the higher time frame, there's nothing that really stands out about that price area as well, except for, and again, this is aftermarket trading, so that's one thing you want to note on your charts, guys. Like if this was like early afternoon, like 3 o'clock when it held 439.50, maybe I'd actually care a little bit more and say, yeah, maybe that resistance is turning into support, but that's all aftermarket pricing on Moderna. So I don't know if I put too much credence into that until I see some bids or something that turns it around at that price. I'm going to still stick to my target down closer to 437 and let this one ride a little bit here. And speaking of let things ride, the downside of letting things ride is this can happen. So INDP comes all the way back. It's now out of the money and threatening to break into the upside here. So unfortunately, we have given some of our profit back in INDP. Now, it was a great short, over $1 winner, and I wanted to give it some room. But when this thing goes just the same way it went down, or the same way it went up on the breakout in yesterday's action, the same way it fell all day long, the volatility is going to be there on the same. You absolutely know that's going to be true. So it just wicked up and failed through 14 even, which means I want to hang on to the short. If it breaks the top again, I'll get out. And then all eyes on 15, double top, crazy selling below 15 on INDP. So you got to hunt for that level. You know, whether you like it for a breakout at 15 if it goes, or whether you like it for a short in front, both of those look fantastic options to me, because clearly that's a decision point and the biggest one I've seen on INDP. I never got CEI, so that'll remain a negative stock for me because I'm sitting on the offer at 75 and probably should have sat on a gateway that I pay to add liquidity because it just turned around. CEI barcoding at the top, but I had that run wrong multiple times on the way up here. I'm just liking that 180 level from a couple of days ago as resistance.
Dutch Bros. I mean, we were long $40. I mean, this was, I even started off as my biggest trade here that we wanted to take, and we did take it, but it's faded back in. We should have got it more long there at 40.50. That was a big, huge mistake. But now it's up to $48. It went up to, so wow. Getting out at 42 all of a sudden doesn't look so good, and it never did really, except for when it went back to 40.50 and then the break again. That should have been taken again. All of these breaks should have been taken. There was really no reason why when you get consolidation not to do that, and I don't want to do it again, but I do want to go short if we come up to 47, 47.50. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't think he's going to have enough juice to do that today again. You see yesterday's, I mean, we came out at 32, right? Now you're at 48. So not to say that that doesn't mean that you can't go higher than this. We could. There's a lot of excitement about this. I mean, this valuation, I mean, it just seems like it's just way off if it's going to keep running upside. So let's just do that and take this, get a little short here if it comes up to 47. Like 47.50 is pretty good because then we have the top of 48.50. And it won't be a big short. It'll just be a small one because, again, I don't want to play against the momentum here. So if we can get 47, 47.50, something like that, we'll try a short here and then we'll get out if it breaks. I'll probably just get out actually if it breaks 48, to be honest with you. So let's start to build this 47. We'll take a little bit more right there. But right now, Bros is an idea that we have on board with that one. We'll see if that's going to go. Palantir 44 cents in the money, and Apple only 20 cents now in the money. Oh, so I've changed my mind on Apple here. So what we're going to do, actually I haven't really changed my mind that much, but we're going to get another short here as it comes back to the upside now. We'll see if we can't take one. I'm sitting here at 81. Maybe I should just take some now, and what's the difference? 10 cents. But we'll wait to see if Apple comes back to the upside, and then I still want to use this 25 as an out. I know I changed that. I said that maybe we're going to use VWAP at 48. That makes more sense, but I want to use this bottom there, 148.25, as a spot to get out on Apple. So we'll see if we can get ticked out. We have a 50-cent win right now on Palantir. We identified that that was a top, so we're going to get out if it comes back to the upside. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But right now, Apple, Palantir, Clover. Clover dips down, and we buy the dip. So again, a couple outs there around 50, buying the dip on Clover. Look, I mean, this is going to have to go. We're not negative on the name yet. It's because we're holding it. So right now, if Clover does take out some of these $8 marks, then we want to get out. But I do want to put a bigger piece on around $8 down here. And then if it breaks to the bottom, then you'll know we'll be red on that stock. So right now, Clover, we're just waiting for it. Here goes Palantir, back through 28. Come on, PLTR. This may be the opportunity to get out right now. So if we can just go up a little bit higher, we'll get out of some Palantir. Now here it goes. Wow, this is just rocking right now. Let's take the opportunity to get out right now, Palantir, and then we'll worry about the short after that. But right now, Palantir, a nice win, 60 cents in the money.
So Gabriel there, I can't say it the way you did, but I'm late to BBIG, but if it double tops at a level we already liked last week, then I'm going to take the long, so 75 into the long side. Look, it's not about paper hands, we day traded, so am I going to scalp it the same way I did it the other time before? Yes, in front of 9, in front of 9.25, and then probably in front of 9.50. Literally the same way we did it last week is what I'm aiming for here in BBIG, so that continues to press into the upside. And you guys can see in the chat what was said there. I mean, is what it is. There's some excitement for BBIG as it goes up, obviously, but that's all good. I just want to come back, and I said I would double check on IronNet to see what the shorts were going to cost. And of course, it's still like $2.70 or whatever nonsense it was before. So you're not going to see me short this name, obviously, because we can't do it. I'm not paying that particular price. I just don't really see anything. It's not showing any signs of calming down. Calming down or making any kind of a break to the upside just yet. It's still relatively weak. The only trades that we had long was after the down halt and the jailbreak back up. I paper hands that. I even said, give it a chance to go to that fail break 45, and I didn't do that. I did go all the way to 45 before reversing. mRNA, we're going to go to Brennan in a quick second. Moderna has broken through, so that 439.50 was not a thing. It's now broken through. It's now in my target range. I don't want it to exit here without getting out, so I'm in front of 437. If we can take a $7, maybe like $7.50 winner, we're just going to get out of Moderna. Otherwise, I'm going to trail this one probably around that 439.50 area, to be honest. And then, Brendo, what's up?
It is 10:30, guys. That means coming up in 15 minutes, we have a great guest coming through today. Tribe is coming through. Property management from a different aspect, technology spin on Tribe. So we're going to talk to Joseph Nakla, the CEO. I'm really interested in this because if you live in a condo like I do and you pay maintenance fees, you're going to want to hear what Joseph has to say. So come back in 15 minutes and join us for that. In the meantime, let's check out how Europe is shaping up and head over to Miss V.
Hey Brandon, European markets are mostly positive. Travel stocks are among top gainers. Ryanair trading in London is up more than 7% after it raised its full-year traffic forecast. Back to you.
Yeah, trying to be a positive session, guys, but we are struggling still, obviously, here, down about 0.6 for the S&P still.
I like condos. And then I lost that battle with my wife. Because she wanted a house. And I could live in a condo forever. I don't need a lot of space, man. I'm simple. But INDP will do this to it. I tried to be, I should have hit the, I could have been like, I tried to be more diamond hands. Is that going to come up now, or did I hit it too soon? I have to wait till it's done, and then here we go. I tried to be more diamond hands, holding onto this all the way back and giving it. It even did this like dark wick up to 14. It then broke that 1380. I get out of it. We'll walk away from this stock. It's going to be a positive on the short. But don't forget that 15 level. It's a monster level. It's a big one. And as I say that, I get trailed out of a Moderna. It did pop into that target range, and then that 439.50, which I guess I might have anchored myself to that. Now that I think about it, because we have, like, I think it was Omar in there talking about that. Is it going to be support? Because it had those wicks down. I'm like, where am I going to put my trail? 440, which would have made sense. 439.50, the random price that was mentioned to me before. Anyways, we'll trail out of that one. It'll be a $5 winner here. Not 420. I didn't say 420, Randy. Look, man, you're ruining it if you actually just hit the key randomly.
Hit the short.
It's when the stock actually gets to 420 or there's a level of 420. That's why we talk about it. BBIG is consolidating through that break. Fantastic. Like, if it can't, that's great. I mean, I talk about it and then it goes up. So it just ran into my offer there, up at 888, 888. And okay, this is way too random. But have you ever seen the movie Unstoppable with Chris Pine and Denzel Washington? Pretty good. It was the 888 train. I think it was a 48s or 888, whatever. That was the name of the thing. So it is offered 888 in front of it, and that's where my mind went. So breakout on BBIG. If you were not paying attention as to why we like that break, either you can look at it right here on your 15-minute chart. Oh, give me a break. My execution. These ones are still here. You guys remember when I was showing you that we took the break here the last time, and it was the exact same thing that worked out. So let's see if it can't make the same move right into like a 950 or so. Has to break 9 even first. I don't know why it no longer show my executions from last week, but it'll show the ones when I was shorting it back on the 27th, which clearly did not work out too well, as you can see here.
So, I mean, being disciplined is, sometimes a little bit of a crutch because, sometimes you need to be a little bit crazy. But Palantir, right back to the day's high here on a little bit of a NASDAQ bump. We talked about that, man. If the NASDAQ was going to bump, we wanted to get Palantir. But we saw this just bounce so hard off of VWAP that, into this cluster, I had to get out. So we did get that out. Obviously now a little bit sad because we missed the opportunity to capture that. But while that was happening, I actually reloaded Apple, as you guys know. So 147.85. So look at this. I mean, honestly, I took the same amount of shares I did on Palantir there. So 147.85, even though it's 4 or 5 times the price. 150 there, so we took that out. 147.85. Short out 147.65. So we took that 20 pennies. So kind of what we lost on Palantir, we did make back on Apple. Now I know it doesn't matter. I should have both of them, but my logic there I thought was pretty sound. Just watching out to see what the NASDAQ did, and if it did fall back down, then we would have had a crazier position here on Apple. But we were able to reload it, and again, not talking it's wrong. What's wrong is wrong. I mean, we got out of Palantir, and I wish we still had it. So that is what that is. But look what's happening right now as well. I see some people saying, I see you. Yeah, you should, hopefully. Because look at Bros here, man. This is 70 cents in the money right now. We have a 46.85 short rate there that we have on Bros. And look where we're starting to go to the downside now. We could take $1 right here if we wanted to. I think we maybe will do that. We are bidding down here 45, though. 45.70 it just touched out at. So, I mean, this is worth $1 all day here. Let's see. I do have a bid, though, 45.20, I believe. On Bros here. Yeah, 45.20. So we'll see if it comes back in. I may just take this out right now, though. Nice little move to the downside here on BROS. Go ahead.
Hold it. No, that was all.
Oh, you're just saying hold it. Okay. Yeah, with that being said, you may be right, Neil.
Remember
but,
the last time I said that, though?
Right. It did not work out for me, I noticed.
It was a horrible. Yeah, you know what? Don't hold it, because last time I said that, it was horrible.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm out. There we go. Spin it.
Money.
Okay, because right there, we'll put that money in our pocket right there on Bros, man. That's $1.50 there on Bros, $1.33 there. But my target was 45.20, so we get out at 45.50. So we're going to give up that 30 cents. There's 45.20, so it does come right back in. But that was a good trade there. Bros could fall right back in, man. That's fine. But that's a quick scalp. I mean, this is like a minute, just over a minute, I guess. 1, 2, 3. So 4 minutes, 3 and a bit minute there. We take about $1.40 on that one. So Bros, yeah, good one on that. Apple still now back to 15 cents in the money. Nice drop downside here. If the market does fail, let's go Apple. We'll put another bid right here, 147.50 to get out of more of that one. But yeah, wow. Good thing you guys are watching today. I mean, we're just crushing this right now. Brendan's hugely up, Neil as well, myself. So, I mean, this is a good day today. Hopefully we can keep it going. No jinx.
Revenge time here. No, it's not revenge, because we don't believe in revenge trading. If not okay, every now and then. Look, you know what? Here's the thing. If you think that you will never revenge trade, then you're just lying to yourself.
No, we don't believe in it. That is true.
Yeah, you shouldn't do it.
Doesn't mean we don't.
But it will happen. Every single trader revenge trades. It's about limiting the losses when you do, and about understanding that it's not a good thing. So I lost in CEI. You guys saw that like multiple times from the open, from the pre-market. But it got to that close to that 180 level that we're talking about. Well, the trader Pratt and Miss V were talking about a couple of days ago, then a lower high in here again today, and then another lower high in front. So I do short the 175 like I was waiting for. It already popped down to 69. I have bids down in here in front of VWAP, the previous pre-market lows, and then I'll probably cover it all in front of 150, and then take you to Brendan. Was it Brendan?
It was.
Hi. DoorDash, guys. Just wanted to mention DoorDash up big time today. We saw this on the upgrades board. If you joined us early on this morning, just popping back up on volume here. As we speak, in fact, trying to get back to day highs, 6.5% for Dash.
So the only thing about DoorDash is, and I looked at this earlier on, is I just don't believe that this is a good enough company to do this. I mean, it is a reopen play. I do understand that. I mean, I understand everything about Dash there. And I mean, it's a reopen play the other way, right? Because right now it looks like with COVID case, and I'll have to double check it. I know it's getting better here in Ontario, but I don't know what it is like worldwide. I heard a very devastating stat yesterday, and it's really sad. But it's like 1 in 500 Americans have actually died now from COVID. So if you look at the numbers, that's what that is. Yeah, so that's what I read. I don't know whether or not that's true. I mean, you just take the deaths, divided by the population, and I guess it's probably what it is. So that's pretty sad. And DoorDash right now getting that rally move here back to the upside. Remember, they're a recent IPO as well. No SPAC or anything. They just came to market at 180. I clearly remember that day. That was pretty cool. Then lockup happened. I remember that as well. This was lockup expiry down to $100. Stops there and it goes right back to the upside. So for me, we are well off its 50-period moving average. To me, this is a sign to sell, that it's up here. We've already touched this before. So I mean, you may have an opportunity now especially if the world opens back up, I think you can get some puts here on Dash. Up 7%. I know, probably going to work in your favor. So volatility is going to be high. So the premiums are going to be there. But I feel like Dash could drop down. I mean, we were just at 200 3 days ago. So, that would be, again, another 15% move to the downside. I think we retrace into this area, 190 or so. So, hey, for me, Dash is a sell. It doesn't mean if you're holding the stock, that's fantastic. I would just look here and say, hey, we've already been up here before. This may be a good opportunity to sell. It's all about risk management, as many of you know here on the board. CEI, guess what? We hold that one like a champ. Whether or not it's a fool or a champ or not, I don't know what it is. But CEI today, we held that one. Now it's coming back in. So our average price, we did take, these are small pieces, like these are 5% each. So we still want to hold this back. We do understand that VWAP's at 65. Our average price right now is 64. So I do want to put a decent percent out here. Maybe we'll get a 25% around 66. And then we'll hold it. Hopefully we fall back down and CEI pays us off a little bit here. But let's put out a decent order right now ahead of this VWAP. So 66, we're going to sit here on CEI and hope to get picked up for 20% of what we have left. And then we'll let the rest tank downside.
I got something for you guys. First drop the beat. And I can't make it go to the beat, but you'll like this one, Sean. Big things a guan for Vinco Ventures. So that's my second pun. First it was Dr. Seuss. Now it's a little bit. If you actually, you know what, you guys.
But you said things, but
big things.
You got to
if
get
you
rid of the
know
H,
where that
things.
lyric is from, or better yet, the dance hall artist that it's from, I'll be very, very impressed because we're dating ourselves with that one, Sean. But anyways,
yeah, our gray hairs don't do that.
BBIG is broken through 9. What did I say?
I gotta have a
9.15.
Randy cut, you know.
In front of that 925, 950. So that one continues to ride to the upside. If I get the next out, I'll have to have another pun for you guys. But I have time to think about it because you're going to the big screen with Brendan.
And you could have a big pun.
Big pun. Oh, I know what I'm doing.
Big Punisher.
Brendan's the screen for Sector Watch.
BX.
Hey guys, yeah, a quick look at the overall market. Let's jump right into things because we'll highlight 0.5% to the downside today. So not a lot in the way of positivity to talk about. The only thing really to discuss is the consumer discretionary group. So some of the apparel makers and consumer durable goods, I should say, moving to the upside today, along with retail stocks. So Gap leading here, 3.5%. KMX, TSCO, Etsy again today. Etsy's having quite the week. TJ Maxx, 1.5%. Tapestries here, as I mentioned. Under Armour, some of the apparel makers. Otherwise, pretty negative right across this entire board. Materials are leading. FCX, Newmont here as well. FCX, couple of downgrades today. Price target cuts on that one, so 7% to the downside for FCX. Energy stocks are weak as well. Positive yesterday. Tech is weak. Industrials, consumer staples in the far corner over here, also in negative territory. Communication stocks, a couple are positive on the day, but overall, this group as well back in negative territory. So as I said, outside of the discretionary group, consumer discretionary group, pretty negative, guys. 0.6 to the downside for the market.
For those of you that got it, and it wasn't too many, which kind of shows that maybe we are old. Mr. Vegas was the correct answer for that one, as to which dance hall lyric that was. But OPAD is on the move again. So I'm not gonna do that thing where I talk about if you want to list your house, blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. A monster short, which I know Brendan had on here, but look at where it just bottoms right out. Does it have to be so obvious every single time, and then not even having taken it? Look at the pre-market levels here, and this is not just pre-market lows. But go right into the aftermarket when it broke out at 13.15, and then sometimes these do matter, I guess, but holding that 13.75 where pre-market lows were and breaking back into the upside. Big levels here at 17 where it rolled over the first time, and then again at 19, so let's watch for those. I probably should have, and I don't know why I'm not playing off this level just automatically to the short side on INDP, because it again tries to test 15, and again someone sells it hard back into 1380 or 1375. So if you're playing this level, it's just giving you gold shorts. I'm breaking out to the long side if 15 goes on INDP. So my stop order is set there to get filled. Once again, we're still in Beyond Meat because it's still testing this break. For the fourth time, it broke 105. This is the most convincing of those breaks. It got all the way down to 104.50, still sitting in front of 103. I think it has a decent chance to get there now. I will be adjusting my trailing stop now that it's holding below that 105 level. I kind of feel like the trail should be in closer to 106, or if not that 105.5. But Beyond Meat continuing to flush. And I promise, I just said it, so now I have to do it. Because I said to Sean,
you were right about
if I got
Bros,
that last level, I will drop another one for you. This is kind of undercover here, but dead in the middle of Little Italy, little did he know that he riddled some middlemen who didn't know diddly. And the only reason I choked that one is because Randy was in my ear the same. I know that one off by heart.
Randy wasn't in my ear. What the hell, Randy? Look at this bros dump, by the way.
He was just telling me, by the way, that, yeah. We have our guest of the day. We're going to go to that. But he messed up my lyric. I was dropping rhymes, dropping bars. BBIG was going up, and then he gets in my ear when I'm trying to spit out that lyric. Anyways, fantastic guest of the day, and you want to pay attention to this. Tribe was a condo owner.
Let's go over to Brennan.
And Brennan's got the guest of the day. It's a good one.
All right, thanks, guys. Yeah, as promised, Joseph Nakla joining us today from Tribe Property Technologies, CEO, in fact, of Tribe. Great to have you, Joseph. This is an interesting approach to property management, as we teed it up a little bit earlier, a technology-focused approach to property management. Give everyone an introduction to Tribe.
Yeah, good morning. It's so good to be with you. Tribe is a company that's really obsessed about modernizing and digitizing the way we live in our communities. We built a suite of holistic software products that are intended to help people that live in condos or rental communities to frankly come into the 21st century, to have ease by way of finding information, accessibility, communicating with your stakeholders and your neighbors. And we've been obviously listed for 3-4 months now, but really our absolute focus is expanding our footprint in delivering a management service offer that's different than the traditional model available currently for Canadian condos.
So when we say technology focused, tell everyone, what are we talking about here? You know, and how does that differ from a traditional property management company? Anyone who lives in a building, as I do, as I mentioned earlier, Joseph, you know, we're used to the hands-on approach. What does it mean when we say a technology-focused property management firm?
Well, that's a great question. We start by digitizing everything in the community. I'm talking if it's a brand new community and we work with the developer from inception, we actually digitize every single aspect of the home itself, the bathrooms, the different faucets, the color that's been chosen, every aspect of the building, right through to the HVAC system and all the amenities that may be available. And then, as you probably know, living in a condo, there's a set of laws and bylaws that everybody that lives in the community have to adhere to. And these laws and bylaws really introduce complexity associated with workflows. That's why usually when you ask the question, how's your management company or how's your experience in your condo? A lot of people, have to call people 5-6 times. I have to email 4 or 5 times. So what we've done is we've taken a lot of these workflows, I'm talking hundreds of workflows, and made them simple and kind of Uberized them by way of introducing them to you on your own app that's very exclusive to you, that's very focused on your needs as a homeowner, or a tenant, and that also is smart enough to be able to communicate and start and finish all those workflows in the back office. What is most unique about us is that we don't ignore the property management requirement that is needed. So we actually have property managers, we call them community managers in our buildings. Those community managers actually are just as licensed and have the pedigree that is existing in a traditional property management company. But the difference is they're trained to actually conduct the service based on these workflows, which really translates into a lot more digitization, a lot less touch for the homeowners and the condo corporations that are managing on behalf of the owners. Their funds, all the funds are actually significantly available for everybody to see. The transparency is there. And then finally, obviously, what we do is we leverage the amount of information we have about the community and the digital relationship we have with every homeowner to curate and deliver them specific products and services that are needed potentially to enhance the way they live in their home, or at least get some things required, such as insurance, mortgages, and so on.
The company's had a tremendous year and past couple of years, in fact, growing to the 5th largest in this space in both the condo management side and also institutional rental side of things as well. Two-part question here. What does the company attribute this amazing growth to? And then tell us about some recent acquisitions as well in the M&A space.
Yeah, great question. I mean, first of all, a big shout out to our incredible team that continues to grow for doing all the heavy lifting and delivering incredible results. And just to kind of orient your audience a bit, January 2018, we were out to the market with nothing under management. And as of today, we've got more than $12 billion of assets under management. So we've been really blessed with the trust of the market and the belief in the service delivery that we're doing. But to answer your question about the growth, we've seen incredible organic growth. This is communities, either rental communities or condo communities that with the pandemic and everything around it, kind of realized, there's got to be a better way. I shouldn't be talking to people to do something simple or get historical information or connect with somebody to get something done. So digital transformation has become in the forefront of our growth on the organic side. And then we've also asked ourselves the question a couple of years ago, can we buy traditional property management companies and put our technology and service delivery in it and actually convert into the service delivery model that we've got? And the answer, thankfully, after six acquisitions is yes. So we've been on an M&A kind of spree whereby we're identifying great property management companies, bringing them into our ecosystem, rebranding them, putting our technology and services in there. And that probably is one of the bigger reasons why we've seen the revenue growth that you referenced.
Speaking of the revenue side of the business here, Joseph, tell everyone, you mentioned earlier, the multiple different aspects of the company and the way that you generate business. Let's talk about where that revenue comes from and the different aspects that, set the company aside from traditional companies.
Yeah, that's a good question. We have three pillars in our revenue streams. The first pillar is our recurring revenue, which is what we call MRR or ARR, monthly recurring revenue. And that's a very sticky business. This is whereby we have contracts that pay us monthly for conducting all the services. What's unique about us is we do not charge extra for our software for these communities. If you come to us, you get the whole solution with all of our applications available to you from a service point of view. Second bucket of services, what we call transactional revenue. And transactional revenue really is embedded within our applications. Once you are in the community and you manage it, and some people, will move in, will move out, will sell their unit, will buy a unit in our communities and as our home. As they do that, they require information, they require documentation. In some cases, they want to pay rent using their credit card or a different mode of payment. Those are called transactional revenues. That represents about 20% of our revenue. The first line item was about 70% of our revenue. And then finally, we've got a revenue stream we just directed that division. We're very excited about, and I alluded to earlier. It's a division that goes out and actually seeks and curates partnerships, what we call digital partnerships, with service providers that can bring smart building technology to our communities, smart home technology to our, to our homeowners, or the ability to go out there and actually take advantage of our group buying power and do partnerships with EV providers for our homeowners or our communities. In addition to, and you'll see more and more of those types of stuff like insurance, mortgages, and so on and so forth. So it's a long list of arguably unlimited list of partnerships that we want to bring in due to the amount of information we have about the home and the building, and really give our homeowners and our buildings an opportunity to lower the cost of living by choosing and leveraging our group buying power.
The company trades on the Venture Exchange here in Toronto under the ticker TRBE. Joseph Nakla, CEO of Tribe Property Technologies. A very interesting concept. We thank you for your time and appreciate you doing this today.
Thank you so much. Great to be with you.
Have a great day. There we go, guys. TRBE on the Venture.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Brendan, for another fantastic interview. Look, we only have about 7 minutes to go, so immediately I want to remind everybody, because we're going to be going to Memes and Movers with Trader Pratt and Ms. V. It is back on. Like yesterday was a one-time thing that it finished at 12:30. It will be all the way till 2 o'clock that you get both of your favorite two hosts. I mean, you guys probably like us, but you probably absolutely love them. Which